पीछे भी खाली है, वो पीछे वाली खाली है।
So speaking is okay.
लाइव स्टार्ट हो गया तो कुछ बोलना है।
इस तरफ भी आ जाते हैं कुछ ऑफिसर्स आप उस तरफ भी आ जाओ।
उनको बिठाना है क्या? नंबर
देखनी है।
Good morning, everyone. Please settle down.
ठीक है आप भी बोल रहे थे आपकी आवाज़ फिट हो गई एक ही माइक है एक ही मंजू
मैम
हाँ,
वो
हो
मैंने
जाएगा,
ऐसे ही
हो
किया हुआ
जाएगा।
कि दोनों की आवाज़ कैच
दोनों की आवाज़ अच्छा
इट्स फाइन
जैसे भी 1 by 1 है तो
fine.
मैम हो जाएगा
Ladies and gentlemen, you are requested to rise as our honorable dignitaries have arrived.
Kindly be seated. By the time our dignitaries are arriving,
Ladies and gentlemen, you are requested to rise as our honorable dignitaries have arrived. I feel extremely honored and privileged to welcome our distinguished guests. Honorable Mr. Justice Suryakant, Judge, Supreme Court of India. Honorable Mr. Justice Augustine George Massey, Judge, Supreme Court of India. Honorable Mr. Justice Sandeep Mehta, Judge, Supreme Court of India. Honorable Mr. Justice M.M. Srivastav, Chief Justice, Rajasthan High Court and Patron-in-Chief, Rajasthan State Judicial Academy. Honorable Dr. Justice P.S. Bhati, Judge, Rajasthan High Court and Chairman, Rajasthan State Judicial Academy. Honorable Mr. Justice Dinesh Mehta, Judge, Rajasthan High Court and Chairman, Working Committee, Rajasthan State Judicial Academy. Thank you, Your Lordships, for gracing the dais.
कि तोड़ना है हर पिंजरा, मेरी उड़ान अभी बाकी है। मंजिले ज़मीं भर नहीं, आसमान अभी बाकी है। लहरों का थमना नहीं समुंदर की बेबसी, लहरों का थमना नहीं समुंदर की बेबसी। बाहर खामोशी ही सही, भीतर कई तूफान अभी बाकी हैं। सुप्रभात। मंच पर और सभा में उपस्थित माननीय न्यायाधिपतिगण, रजिस्ट्री के अधिकारीगण, न्यायिक अकादमी के मार्गदर्शक और साथी प्रशिक्षु न्यायिक अधिकारीगण, मैं विभाष शर्मा
And I, Rohit Beniwal, welcome you to the valedictory ceremony of RJS Batch 2023.
स्वीकार आमंत्रण किया, रखा हमारा मान। स्वीकार आमंत्रण किया, रखा हमारा मान। कैसे करें कृतज्ञता, स्वागत है श्रीमान।
Colin Powell once said, "There are no secrets to success. It is the result of preparation, hard work, and learning from failure." Today is a big day. Trainee officers of RJS 2023 batch will shed their trainee tag and will henceforth be referred to as just officers of the Rajasthan Judicial Service. This day marks the conclusion of a year-long induction training, which has taught us to channelize our energies in the right direction and to become contributing members of the society, that we may perform our duties with utmost integrity, devotion, professionalism, and moral courage.
मानवता उल्लासित हो जब जले दिया विश्वास का, आओ एक दीप जलाएं, निर्भरता का, नवीनता का, प्रयास का।
May I now request our honorable dignitaries on the dais to light the auspicious lamp to mark the beginning of this program.
असतो मा सद्गमय, तमसो मा ज्योतिर्गमय, मृत्योर्मा अमृतम गमय। अर्थात, हे ईश्वर, मुझे असत्य से सत्य की ओर ले चलो, मुझे अंधकार से प्रकाश की ओर ले चलो, मुझे मृत्यु से अमरता की ओर ले चलो।
Lighting a lamp is symbolic manifestation of divinity, wisdom, intellect, and prosperity. Light conquers darkness and brings chaos to order. It is the lamp of knowledge that we always kindle in our hearts. The warmth of the lamp not only promotes internal bliss, but also enlightens the path of others. Thank you, Your Lordships. If you can keep your head when all about you are losing theirs and blaming it on you. If you can talk with crowds and keep your virtue, or walk with kings, nor lose the common touch. If neither foes nor loving friends can hurt you, if all men count with you, but none too much. If you can fill the unforgiving minute with 60 seconds worth of distance run, yours is the earth and everything that's in it. These were verses from the iconic poem, If, by Rudyard Kipling. As much as these are words to live by, not only in our professional, but also our personal lives, it would not be incorrect to say these are a poetic manifestation of our learning from His Lordship's guidance and chairmanship of this academy. His Lordship always encouraged us to keep the student of law in us alive, to ask questions, and to widen our horizons. And for that, Your Lordship, we will be ever grateful. And with that, I invite Honorable Dr. Justice P.S. Bharti, Judge, Rajasthan High Court, and Chairman, Rajasthan State Judicial Academy, for his welcome and introductory address about one-year induction training.
My Lord, Honorable Justice Surikant Sir, Judge, Supreme Court of India. My Lord, Honorable Justice Augustine Massey Sir, Honorable Judge, Supreme Court of India. My Lord, Honorable Justice Sandeep Mehta, Judge, Supreme Court of India. My Lord, the Chief Justice of Rajasthan High Court, Maninder Shastri Sahab. My brother Judge, Justice Dinesh Mehta, Chairman, Working Committee, Rajasthan Judicial Academy. The honorable judges who have assembled here today to bless the group of judges, as it has been rightly said that the trainee judges shall be shedding their tag of trainees. So I compare it with like something which a cocoon was brought into this magnificent garden, and today the cocoon has developed into a butterfly, various colors, beautiful colors. ऐसा कहा जाता है कि तितलियों का काम पौधों से पराग लेकर के और बहुत सारे मधुमक्खी, तितलियां, सब अलग अलग चीज़ें नेचर की एक्सट्रैक्ट करके और उनको काम में लेती हैं। वैसे के वैसे मुझे पूरी उम्मीद है कि इस अकादमी से निकले हुए आज समस्त जज, ट्रेनी जज जो हैं, जो इस टैग को त्याग करके कुकून से सुंदर तितलियां बन जाएंगी। आप न केवल संविधान रूपी शहद भारत के नागरिक तक पहुंचाएंगे, बल्कि संविधान और प्रजातंत्र के समस्त अधिकारों की रक्षा करेंगे, और जब भी आपको यहाँ ट्रेनिंग दी गई उसको आप पूरा इस्तेमाल करेंगे ताकि आप एक सुंदर भविष्य न्यायपालिका, प्रजातंत्र और संविधान का आम नागरिक भारत का देख सके। ऐसी अपेक्षा के साथ मैं आप सबका यहाँ पे स्वागत करता हूँ। मुझे आज बहुत खुशी है कि पूरे आपके एक वर्ष की तपस्या 4 अप्रैल 2023 को आप सब यहाँ आए थे, और वो एक सुंदर दिन था। आपके मन में एक एक्साइटमेंट था कि कैसी एकेडमी होगी, कैसी हमारी ट्रेनिंग होगी। मुझे पूरा विश्वास है कि हमारे जो गुरुकुल के जो जजेस हैं, शंगानी साहब, विकास जी, मेघना मैडम, सीमा मैम और गोविंद जी, इन सब ने आपका बहुत अच्छा मार्गदर्शन दिया, और साथ में हाईकोर्ट की रजिस्ट्री जिसमें हमारे रजिस्ट्रार साहब, पीपीएस साहब और रजिस्ट्री के अन्य साथीगण मौजूद हैं, इन्होंने भी बराबर आपका हौसला अफजाई करी। मुझे खुशी है कि समय समय पर एक दिन मैंने जब मोंगा साहब से निवेदन किया कि आपके साथ चल के लंच करें, तो वो बहुत खुशी आए, उन्होंने लंच लिया आप लोगों के साथ। विनीत जी को मैंने कहा कि आप कुछ डिफ़िकल्ट मीडिया ट्रायल के इश्यूज़ हैं जिनको आप टेकअप करो। वो बड़ी ही बिजी उसके अंदर से टाइम निकाल करके आए, और उन्होंने उसके बीच में अपनी बात आप लोगों के सामने रखी, क्योंकि मीडिया ट्रायल एक इशू रहता है हमेशा यंगर जजेस के माइंड के अंदर। मुझे खुशी है कि सिस्टर रेखा पुराना, सुदेश जी, अनूप जी, कुलदीप माथुर साहब, अशोक जैन साहब, जिंगन साहब, लक्ष्मण साहब ने अपनी अपनी भूमिका निभाई आप लोगों की हौसला अफजाई के लिए। फर्जन साहब ने जब आपको जिस दिन लेक्चर दिया, तो चूँकि मेरे पास हर सेशन में, हर लेक्चर के बाद में उसका नोट आता है, विस्मृत रह गया कि कितनी अच्छी जानकारी, कितने प्रैक्टिकल सेंस में उन्होंने आपको दी। और फिर जब डॉक्टर नुपुर भट्टी यहाँ थे, तो मैंने उनको कहा कि आपके आईसीटी की जो भी योगदान है उसको आप बच्चों से शेयर करिए, और मैं उनका भी धन्यवाद देता हूं कि उन्होंने आईसीटी की अपनी इश्यूज़ जो हैं आर्टिफिशियल इंटेलिजेंस के साथ आप लोगों के साथ शेयर किया। तमाम उन रिसोर्स पर्सन्स जिन्होंने हमारा ये सुंदर एक साल बिताने में मदद करी, मैं उन सब का धन्यवाद देता हूँ। मुझे रजिस्ट्री के ऑफिसर से लगा के सबसे जो कोऑपरेशन मिला उसकी वजह से आज ये वेलकम जो है एक स्पार्कलिंग डे बन गया। कितनी सुंदर तरीके से आप सब ने कल रात को अपने अपने प्रदर्शन दिए। मैं देख रहा था कि दिशा जी, मैं किसी भी ट्रेनी जज का अगर नाम लूँ तो प्लीज़ अपना हाथ खड़ा कर लें, क्योंकि मैसी साहब कल रात को थे नहीं तो वो पहचान जाएंगे कि वो उनकी बात कही जा रही है। सिर्फ एक सेकंड के लिए अपना हाथ खड़ा कर दें जो जी जहाँ हो। तो दिशा जी ने कल रात को जो है वो एक समा बांध दिया जब उन्होंने एक अपनी अद्भुत संस्कृत और हिंदी की कंपेयरिंग के अंदर इंग्लिश को साथ में मिला करके, और जो पूरे प्रोग्राम जो सांस्कृतिक कार्यक्रम था, जो आपकी सांस्कृतिक संध्या थी, उसको एक नया आयाम दिया। मैं प्रियंका जी को भी, जिन्होंने पधारो हमारे देश गाया और बहुत ही बेहतरीन तरीके से एक आज एक तरह से वेलकम का मेरा काम है जो इन्होंने कल आधा तो पूरा कर दिया। फिर मैं सौम्य के लिए विशेष रूप से धन्यवाद देना चाहता हूँ, क्योंकि कल रात को जब मैडम सूर्यकांत जो खुद इंग्लिश लिटरेचर के बड़े प्रोफेसर हैं, जब उन्होंने कहा कि रामधारी सिंह दिनकर जैसे कवि को इतनी सुंदर प्रस्तुत, इतने अद्भुत तालमेल के साथ प्रस्तुत करना, तो अपने आप में एक बहुत ही सुंदर समय शाम को सौम्य आपकी उस कविता की वजह से हुआ। वर्षा जिन्होंने जो है उकेले में अपने इंस्ट्रूमेंट पे किया और 2 सॉन्ग्स पे किए, उन्होंने भी बहुत अच्छा प्रदर्शन किया। उनका भी मैं धन्यवाद देना चाहता हूँ, उनको भी स्वागत करना चाहता हूँ। और लीमा जी ने जो सेमी क्लासिकल कृष्ण डांस किया, आई थिंक इट वॉज unparalleled, it was wonderful, it was the spirit of what a judge should be and what a judge can be, and we are really proud of her. Geetika ji, Pallavi ji, Sushma ji, Rahul ji, Abhishek ji, Shyam ji, Dimple ji, Richa ji, Mahima ji, Manisha ji, Priyanka ji। भंगड़ा और घूमर ये दोनों हमारे लिए बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट थे। इसलिए इंपॉर्टेंट थे क्योंकि चीफ साहब कह रहे थे कि घूमर से तो हम ट्रेडिशन को डिफ्लेक्ट कर पाएंगे, एक रिफ्लेक्शन दे पाएंगे। और चीफ साहब का ये इच्छा थी कि जो लास्ट है वो एक हैप्पी मोड के अंदर, एक एंथुसियास्टिक मोड के अंदर सब हंसते हंसते और फुल ऑफ एनर्जी जाने चाहिए, और वो काम हमारी भंगड़ा जजेस ने पूरा किया और एक बहुत ही सुंदर शाम जो है हमें निकालने का मौका मिला। मैं लॉर्डशिप से, तीनों लॉर्डशिप से ये भी शेयर करना चाहूँगा कि हमने बहुत सुंदर, आज अभी जो आपने स्पोर्ट्स कॉम्प्लेक्स जिसका उद्घाटन किया, इसके आसपास हमने बहुत सुंदर खेल प्रतियोगिताएं कराई, जिसमें टेबल टेनिस में हमारे राहुल जी और अभिषेक जी जो है वो अव्वल रहे। उसके बाद हमने टेबल टेनिस फीमेल में अंजलि जी और शिखा जी अव्वल रहे। और अंजलि जी का तो मैं क्या कहूँ, ये जो है वो हमारे इस बैच की टॉपर भी हैं, ये हमारे इस बैच की टॉपर भी हैं, और टेबल टेनिस की भी टॉपर थी और बैडमिंटन की भी टॉपर थी हैं। तो ये कई मल्टीफैसेटेड जो है वो मल्टीफैसेटेड जज हैं। चेस में मोहित जी और विजय जी ने, और चेस फीमेल में मोनिका जी और सुषमा जी ने, और बैडमिंटन में हर्षवर्धन और धारू जी ने, और बैडमिंटन में अंजलि जी और शिखा जी ने वापस, और वॉलीबॉल में सुरजीत जी, शारविन जी, अभिलेश जी, अभिषेक जी, राहुल जी, शशि जी, नताशा जी, शिखा जी, सुरजीत जी, आकाश कुमार जी, आकाश तांबी जी, देवेंद्र जी, सतीश जी, अभिलाष जी, शिखा जी, रितिका जी, इन सब ने बहुत सुंदर पार्टिसिपेशन किया सर। और वो उस दिन 3 घंटे तक मैं और दिनेश मेहता साहब विस्मृत रह गए कि जजेस जिस तरह से कूद के खेल रहे थे, हमें लग रहा था कि शायद इनकी फिजिकल फिटनेस का इशू, जिसके लिए आप बड़े हमेशा हमको सतर्क करते हैं, वो इशू इन लोगों के साथ नहीं होगा, क्योंकि जिस सतर्कता और जिस एनर्जी और बोयंसी के साथ ये अपनी बात रख रहे थे, वो एक अत्यंत आनंदमय क्षण था ये देखने में कि हमारी युवा जज इतने फुल ऑफ एनर्जी हैं और इतने फुल ऑफ फिजिकल हैं। राकेश जी, अभिषेक, क्रिकेट तो हमेशा हिंदुस्तान के सब स्पोर्ट्स के शहंशाह हैं, तो इसलिए आप लोगों का भी मैं धन्यवाद वेलकम करता हूँ क्रिकेट की दोनों टीम्स का, जो आपने बहुत अच्छा गेम खेला। राकेश जी, अभिषेक जी, अभिलाष जी, श्याम जी, आकाश जी, धर्मेंद्र जी, सुरजीत जी, राहुल जी, शशिकांत जी, डिम्पल जी, धारू जी, शिखा जी, नितिन जी, पंकज जी, मयंक जी, देवेंद्र जी, सुरेश जी, आकाश जी, रविंद्र जी, हर्ष जी, अनिमेश जी, सतीश जी, विनोद जी, दामिनी जी, राहुल जी। सर, the lady judges were equally participative. In almost every sport, they had a sizable participation, and the sports complex probably will come meaningful if the younger generation remains. I assure you that it will be very meaningful place in the academy because of significance which I saw. If this is the kind of energy that a young judge is carrying in his shoulders, I'm sure what you have given dedicated to the academy today, and thanks to our captain, and of course, each one of us knows that this beautiful sports complex, which has been today dedicated to the academy and inaugurated by Lordships Surikant sir and Lordships Masi sir and Lordships Sandeep Mehta sir, was a baby of Sandeep Mehta Sahab while he was the chairman. And I do not remember the date, but it was some December morning, very chilly type and cloudy, and Sandeep Mehta sir directed all we younger brothers and sisters to gather there in the, 22 probably or 21 maybe. So we all gathered there. काफ़ी ठंड थी, हमें लग रहा था जैसे उजाड़ सा मैदान है, क्या होगा क्या नहीं होगा. Anyway, चलो it has to come up, but then sir has filled that design so beautifully that it has come to its full bloom colors, and thanks to our Captain Honorable Chief Justice, we have been able to inaugurate it while this batch is here today. At least you will say that yes, it was, we did our best to inaugurate it before, but the engineers were again and again taking dates. They were again and again saying it will take little more time, and finally, but I'm happy that each one of you now know your academy, at least you're part of the sports complex. I may share one anecdote from Fali Nariman Saab's books, a book, the Before the Memory Shades Away. This is dedicated to all the younger judges. There was a, उनके घर में एक बाबू कालिदास काम करते थे, और वो बाबू कालिदास जो है जब वो ASG बने और पूरे घर में मिठाइयाँ और एक उत्साह का वातावरण था, तब वो जो बाबू कालिदास जी जो सालों से उनके घर काम किया करते थे, उन्होंने थोड़ा चेहरा बिगाड़ के कहा, इसका प्रोनाउंसिएशन शायद सही ना आए, चलो वेला वेला थाए थाए मजिस्ट्रेट भी सारू हो जाओगे, मतलब धीरे धीरे करके आप मजिस्ट्रेट भी बन जाओगे, अभी तो ASG बन गए हो. So that is the respect that a judge carries in the society amongst a common man. Why this was a special message to you, that this beautiful academy is only the garden, but you are the beautiful flowers which we dedicate to the common citizen of India. So if you will have the fragrance, अगर आप में अगर वो खुशबू आएगी, तभी हम समाज को वो चीज़ दे पाएंगे जिसके लिए हम आज यहाँ सब जने बने हुए हैं और जिसके लिए हम आज यहाँ प्रयास कर रहे हैं. ऑनरेबल जस्टिस सूर्यकांत सर को मैं काफ़ी लंबे समय के लिए मिला चंडीगढ़ में, एक मीडिएशन की कॉन्फ्रेंस थी, सर उसको हेड कर रहे थे, मैं भी पास में बैठा हुआ था, और सर के विचारों से मैं बहुत प्रभावित हुआ, और उसके बाद मैंने काफ़ी गहनता से आपको फॉलो किया, और मैंने ये पाया कि वो एक अद्भुत पर्सनालिटी के मालिक हैं, क्योंकि वो जो है, मैं आपको एक दो चीज़ें शेयर करना चाहूँगा. एक बार आपने कोर्ट में ऐसा किस्सा सुनाया कि आप सब, हम जो जजेस यहाँ बैठे हैं उनके सामने रोज एक समस्या आती है, जितने जो जजेस हैं इंक्लूडिंग एकेडमी, एक समस्या ये आती है कि छोटे ऑफेंस के अंदर यदि अगर आदमी ज़्यादा जो है वो ज़्यादा बार पकड़ा जाता है, जैसे 14 बार चोरी करते हुए 15 बार चोरी, तो रोज़ कुलदीप माथुर साहब जिनकी बेल की बेंच चल रही है रोज़ नाराज़ होते हैं कि जो है वो छोटा ऑफेंस है, बड़ा करें इसको, कैसे करें इसको, बेल करें कि नहीं करें. तो सर के सामने जब ऐसा बात आई तो सर ने कहा कि मेरे भी खुद के ट्यूबवेल है और मेरा भी खेत है, और मेरी जो मशीन है वो चोरी हो गई, और जब वो मशीन चोरी हो गई और मैंने मेरे खेत पे जो व्यक्ति काम कर रहा था उसको मैंने कहा कि आप जाइए और ज़रा इसको चोरी की कंप्लेंट लिखाइए, तो उस आदमी ने कहा कि वो पुलिस वाले कह रहे हैं कि कल ही तो कोर्ट में पेश किया था 15वीं बार, और अब आज आप फिर चोरी की कंप्लेंट लिखाए, वो कोर्ट ने ही तो छोड़ा है, वो कल तो छोड़ा और आज फिर इसने चोरी कर ली. खैर उस बात के ऊपर वो एंटिसिपेटरी बेल का केस था, और फिर लॉर्डशिप्स ने उसको खारिज किया, और उसके बाद मैं उनको भेजा कि आप जाके सरेंडर करिए और जो भी आपका न्यायालय करेंगे वो करेंगे. लेकिन उस ये मल्टीपल जो एगोनी, मल्टीपल क्राइम की जो एगोनी जज के माइंड में चलती है, एक तरफ उसको लगता है कि इतना छोटा सा 379 का ऑफेंस है, इतना छोटा सा इशू है, लेकिन जब वो मल्टीपल टाइम्स होता है तो किस तरह की एगोनीज आप लोगों के सामने आएगी, ये भी एक अच्छा एग्जाम्पल है. लॉर्डशिप्स जो है उनका एक बहुत इंटरेस्टिंग पैराग्राफ मुझे मिला. वैसे तो इतने जजमेंट्स हैं कि मैं अगर यहाँ बोलता रहूँ सारा दिन निकल जाएगा, लेकिन सबकी फ्लाइट्स हैं. मैं सिर्फ एक दो तीन छोटी छोटी चीज़ें आपको बताना चाहूँगा ताकि आप ये जान पाएँ कि किस महान हस्ती के समक्ष आज आप सब हैं. और वो है कि एक एयर पॉल्यूशन से संबंधित दिल्ली का, आपने सबने रोज देश की सुर्खियों में जो मुकदमा चलता है उसमें लॉर्डशिप्स का ये व्यू था, आपका ये रिमार्क था कि व्हेन द इशू ऑफ स्टबल बर्निंग came in a debate, Lordship said that he is a farmer himself. He was in a position to understand the difficulties of the farmers. He lamented that no one was concerned with the plight of farmers, in what circumstances they are compelled to resort to stubble burning, and the reasons why they are unable to follow these scientific reports suggested by government. People sitting in 5 stars keep blaming farmers. With 4% to 5% is attributed to them after agrarian laws, what happened to their land holdings, what happened to the reforms, what happened to the machines, whether they can. So he has that heart. He has that kind heart which goes away to the common man. And that's what is wonderful. Judges come, when I say these judges, these are trainee judges. This is what makes it very special in the journey when you are able to reach out to the last man. Your Lordships have been Advocate General of Punjab and Haryana High Court as youngest Advocate General and probably the longest, of course, and has many rich contributions as far as the law and streams of law. One wonderful line I saw from Lordship's deliberation was, the civic society has a fundamental and human right to live free from any kind of psycho, fear, threat, danger, or insecurity. So these are the beautiful components. See, amongst them when you search, the issue is, what is the issue? Issue is not that issue is that how great men are built. The journeys are very careful. All of amongst you, many will become great. So the journeys have to be followed. Why I started with Fali Nariman? Not because Fali Nariman is no more between us, but Fali Nariman will be ever alive between us. Why? Because he has taught us many things which are absolutely, beyond comprehension that a normal human being. Now, 3 more things which Lordships have touched and which I feel is great significance for the address to the younger judges is, speaking about judicial activism with respect to access to justice, Justice Surikant agreed that it was a complex issue which required marginal improvements to be continuously made. So that is the thing. And then the answer given by him, that how to resolve this complex issue. The answer given was, humanization of judiciary is what is required, one line only. Humanization of judiciary. So humanization of judiciary is a continuous process, but question is whether we are still going on that process, whether we are still continuing with that journey or not. If we are continuing, definitely the God is great and we are likely to succeed. So these are the few things which are only to tell you that how the journeys are made and why your Lordships have agreed. Otherwise, Supreme Court is very busy. Your Lordships are very busy, all 3 of them. But they have agreed to come to the academy because of their specific attachment to the younger judges. This is special emotion. This is a special streak that has brought them here amongst their busy schedule. And as far as our own captain, former captain, Justice Massey, we really worked sometimes with Sir, and it was a wonderful exercise. One day Sir told me that we will be having 4 or 5 judges of the younger judges and we'll address him. I was astounded to see that it was a very small message. Sit in time, wear your dress properly, be proper in the society, conduct yourself properly, look good in the society, and also work hard, do your things. And last but not least, his last message was, keep your temperaments cool. Those 7 things which he pointed out to the younger judges, they now become imbibed in me as a part of this academy and this High Court. And I every day, not only for those younger judges, I every day remind myself that these are the 7 things which each judge should be abiding by. The one thing that I would bring to the knowledge of the House is, Sir has a very, very special place for mothers. And I myself, belonging to the same ideology, would like to quote Sir's only one paragraph from a judgment. Sir said, this was a custody matter. Please listen carefully, each word of it. It's very beautiful. Particularly, the company of mother is more valuable to a growing up child unless there are compelling and justifiable reasons. A child should not be deprived of the company of the mother. Significantly, my lords remarked, mother is a priceless gift, a real treasure, and an earnest, heartfelt power for a child, especially for a growing girl of the age or a younger age of the boys, which is very critical phases of their life, being major shift in thinking biologically and genetically, which may help them to understand more effectively with the help of the mother. And at the crucial teenage, the custody with the mother is as necessary for the growth. The answer may go in favor of father also sometimes when it is not an absolute answer, but it is the generation, we have to understand these are the things which connect. Tomorrow, every day on one side there will be father, there will be mother. Tomorrow when you go to your courts, this is going to happen. It will look as if it can't be weighed, but if you weigh it finely with the fine prisms, which you have here in the law books and which you have learnt in the academy, I'm sure you would be able to gather a lot of energy from these and make a positive and a good outcome of all this. Lordships, the Justice Sandeep Mehta sir, from this grand screen which you are seeing, which is a state of the art, from this grand rostrum to this grand building which we have, not the complete building, but he has many parts of it, everything. He is a mentor in Rajasthan. He is a supreme mentor of Rajasthan, and he has really worked in day and out whenever he was here. Every moment he was working, and you know, ordinary people like us, at least like me, would have a 440 kilowatt of line, but he has a 11,000 kilowatt of electricity line running in him, and that current makes him special. That current makes him special, and at least when I see him, I get a lot of energy for myself to work hard. I have been working day and night with my captain, my chief, for this program of today, for sending your valedictory. You will not imagine, for last 30 days, Honorable Chief Justice has spoken to me at least 30 times, and many times more than an hour, just to plan your valedictory, just to get the right kind of leaders here from the judiciary to bless you, just to make a day successful, just to make your, no, I will not say bye-bye. Yesterday, one of the judges was saying, कि सर ये आज हमारी आखिरी रात है. No, this is the journey. This is a journey which all of us are undergoing, not only you, each one of us. So please don't consider it as a आखिरी रात. It is only a journey. एक पड़ाव पे आप पहुंचे हैं. एक पड़ाव है जहाँ पे आपको आगे आकर के और ज़्यादा काम करना है, और ज़्यादा जो आप यहाँ से सीखे हैं वो सब चीज़ें आपको समाज को वापस देनी है, भारत के नागरिक को लौटानी है. तो मेरे चीफ जस्टिस ने जिस प्रकार से दिन रात इतने बिजी शेड्यूल से अपना समय निकाल करके और बार बार जयपुर जोधपुर के बीच में ट्रैवल करके इस सुंदर वैलिडेटरी को प्लान किया, जिसमें कल शाम की सुंदर शाम और सब थी, मैं उनका भी धन्यवाद दूंगा. और मैं देख रहा हूं कि आज प्लेटिनम जुबली के वर्ष में आज ये राजस्थान हाई कोर्ट का टर्निंग पॉइंट है, क्योंकि आज एक नई उड़ान राजस्थान हाई कोर्ट बढ़ने जा रहा है. और मुझे खुशी है कि जो जज, लॉर्डशिप्स, दिस इज वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट, कि जो ऑनरेबल जज 2 साल हमारे यहाँ थे वही चीफ जस्टिस बने. इसकी वजह से हमारा सपना बेहतर रूप से साकार हो पाएगा, और ये मेरा पूरा विश्वास है, और ये मेरे सभी भाई बहनों का भी विश्वास है कि हम सब इस सपने को बेहतर उनके साथ, उनकी टीम के मेंबर बन के, उनका पावर बन के, उनकी स्ट्रेंथ बन के इसको आगे बढ़ाने का प्रयास करेंगे. मैं आप सबको बहुत, आपका स्वागत है, आपके अगले पड़ाव की ओर आपका बहुत बड़ा स्वागत. कृपया अच्छे से जाइएगा, अच्छे से रहिएगा, एकेडमी से जुड़े रहिएगा, और जो भी आशीर्वाद आप यहाँ से आप अपनी गठरी के अंदर बटोर के जा रहे हैं, मैं उम्मीद करता हूँ कि वो आपके काम आएगा, और उस आशीर्वाद को आप समय समय पर भारत के उस नागरिक और भारत के संविधान को अपने आप को समर्पित करने के लिए अवश्य काम में लेंगे. मैं 2-3 दिन से आप लोगों को लगातार कह रहा हूँ कि जहाँ आप रहे हो और इमोशनल मैं हो रहा हूँ, लेकिन अब मेरे को हमेशा याद रखना चाहिए कि मैं एक अधिवक्ता नहीं हूँ. अधिवक्ता को अधिकार होता है अधिक बोलने का, पर फिर भी मैंने अपनी टाइमलाइन को क्रॉस किया. बट मुझे हमेशा इस एकेडमी में आप सबके बीच में आकर के एक बहुत परिवार सा महसूस होता है. मैं उन सभी छोटे भाइयों को बहुत भाई बहनों को धन्यवाद देता हूं कि उन्होंने इस ट्रेनिंग में अच्छे से पार्टिसिपेट करके एक पॉजिटिव मैनर के अंदर, एक अच्छी एनर्जी के साथ आपने एक नया कीर्तिमान स्थापित किया. मुझे लगता है कि आज तक के बैचेस के सबसे बेहतरीन बैचेस का जब भी नाम लिया जाएगा, आपका बैच उसमें से एक होगा. थैंक यू वेरी मच.
धन्यवाद लॉर्डशिप, आपके अनमोल वचनों के लिए एवं सदैव हमें प्रोत्साहित करने के लिए. पौधा दे विशिष्ट को, उपहार हो रिवाज, नित्या तरुवर नीम घर, ताप मिटे अरुखाज. अत्यंत सम्मान के साथ हम प्रतिष्ठित माननीय न्यायाधिपति गण का हार्दिक स्वागत करते हैं, और सम्मान एवं प्रशंसा के प्रतीक के रूप में हम विकास, जीवन शक्ति और स्थिरता के सार को मूर्त रूप देने वाले पौधे प्रस्तुत करना चाहते हैं. अतः पौधे से बेहतर और कोई विकल्प नहीं हो सकता हमारे माननीय अतिथियों का स्वागत करने के लिए.
I now request Honorable Mr. Justice Vineet Kumar Mathur, Judge, Rajasthan High Court and Co-Chairman RSJA, to present a plant to Honorable Mr. Justice Suryakant, Judge, Supreme Court of India. Thank you, Your Lordships. I now request Honorable Mr. Justice Avnish Jhingan, Judge, Rajasthan High Court, to present a plant to Honorable Mr. Justice Augustine George Massey, Judge, Supreme Court of India.
I humbly request Honorable Mr. Justice Arun Monga, Judge, Rajasthan High Court, to present a plant to Honorable Mr. Justice Sandeep Mehta, Judge, Supreme Court of India. I humbly request Honorable Mr. Justice Munari Lakshman, Judge, Rajasthan High Court, to present a plant to Honorable Mr. Justice M.M. Srivastav, the Chief Justice of Rajasthan High Court and Patron-in-Chief of Rajasthan State Judicial Academy.
Thank you, Your Lordships. I now request Shri C.P. Shrimali, Registrar General, Rajasthan High Court, to present a plant to Honorable Dr. Justice P.S. Bhati, Judge, Rajasthan High Court and Chairman, Rajasthan State Judicial Academy. Thank you. I request Shri Kamal Changani, Director, Rajasthan State Judicial Academy, to present a plant to Honorable Mr. Justice Dinesh Mehta, Judge, Rajasthan High Court and Chairman, Working Committee, Rajasthan State Judicial Academy.
अब मैं आमंत्रित करना चाहती हूँ सरल, सहज, सक्षम प्रशासक एवं कुशल नेतृत्वकर्ता तथा राजस्थान न्यायिक परिवार के मुखिया न्यायाधिपति श्री M.M. श्रीवास्तव साहब को कि आप अपने उद्बोधन से हमें अभिभूत करें।
A very good morning to everyone present in this historic moment. Honorable Mr. Justice Surkant, Judge, Supreme Court of India, Honorable Mr. Justice Augustine George Massey, Judge, Supreme Court of India, Honorable Mr. Justice Sandeep Mehta, Judge, Supreme Court of India, my brother, Dr. Justice Pushpen Singh Bhati, Judge, Rajasthan High Court and Chairman of Rajasthan State Judicial Academy, Brother Justice Dinesh Mehta, Judge, Rajasthan High Court and Chairman of the Working Committee of Rajasthan State Judicial Academy, my esteemed brother and sister judges in the Rajasthan High Court, officers of the Registry, State Judicial Academy and members of Judicial Service, and dear Trainee Judicial Officers, ladies and gentlemen. Our chairman assigned me 7 minutes to speak today and assigned to himself 5 minutes. But then I'm not going to multiply by 5 times my speech. He was fully justified because he is so closely associated with the academy and he had been interacting with the judicial officers all through the period when all were coming here. So we all were very much gripped the way he presented the welcome speech. He welcomed everybody, the distinguished guests, all the judicial officers, judges, everyone. I also join him to welcome and extend hearty welcome to honorable judges of the Supreme Court who all have come here despite their busy schedule in this valedictory ceremony. At the outset, I would congratulate all the training judicial officers for successful completion of 1-year training, which is a part of our orientation induction program before they embark upon their judicial journey as the judges. You all labor hard to become a law graduate and then compete successfully through a very tough competitive examination, got selected and then appointed as judicial officer. However, mere selection does not you transform overnight as a judge. The object and purpose of training program is to transform all the trainee judicial officers from law graduate to a judicial officer to a judge. When you came here, you were law graduates. When you're leaving the academy, now the process of your transformation to a judge as a judicial officer has well begun. This training program was aimed to orient and develop a judicial mindset, to infuse in you judicial discipline, to sensitize towards what is judicial ethics, and provide training to develop judicial skills and judicial temperament. There are two institutions which are called temples. One is the educational institution and the other is court. Why is a court called temple? You see, dispensation of justice since ages has been conceived as having an element of divinity, and many believe that it is a divine function. Social thinkers strongly believe that prevalence of justice is essential for peaceful coexistence, which is an attribute of modern and progressive society. Without justice, one cannot imagine growth and development in true sense of a human society. If justice does not prevail, it will bring anarchy and destroy social fabric and society itself. Now that can be maintained only when there is a rule of law. And for bringing about an efficient rule of law situation in the society, we need to have an efficient and effective justice delivery system. And that is how the role of a judge becomes extremely important for maintaining rule of law. And it is for this reason that induction, orientation and training is extremely important for newly appointed judicial officers. And that is why three honorable judges of the Supreme Court, despite their busy schedule, have accepted our request to come all the way from Delhi to inspire, motivate and guide you all at the threshold of your journey as sentinel on the qui vive. It is not merely an employment in ordinary sense of the term. It is an august office of public service. It is said, a judge remains a judge for 24 hours a day, 7 days a week and 365 days a year. It demands high degree of integrity, conduct, character and ethics. In the case of C. Ravichandran Iyer versus Justice A. M. Bhattacharjee, Honorable Supreme Court remarked as to what should be the conduct of judges, and I quote, "When a judge sits on trial, he himself is on trial. The trust and confidence of we the people in judiciary stands on the bedrock of its ability to dispense fearless and impartial justice. Any action which may shake that foundation is just not permitted. Once having assumed the judicial office, the judge is a judge for 24 hours. It is a mistaken assumption for any holder of judicial office to say that I am judge from 10 to 5 and 5 to 10 is my private life. A judge is constantly under public gauge. Judicial office is essentially a public trust. Society is therefore entitled to expect that a judge must be a man of high integrity, honesty, and required to have moral vigor, ethics, firmness, and impervious to corrupt or venial influences. He is required to keep most exacting standards of propriety in judicial conduct. Any conduct which tends to undermine public confidence in the integrity and impartiality of the court would be deleterious to the efficacy of judicial process. Society therefore expects very high standards of conduct and rectitude from a judge. Unwritten code of conduct is writ large for judicial officers to emulate and imbibe high moral and ethical standards. Expected of a higher judicial functionary as wholesome standard of conduct which would generate public confidence, accord dignity to the judicial office, and enhance public image not only of the judge but the court itself. It is therefore a basic requirement that a judge's official and personal conduct be free from impropriety. The same must be in tune with the highest standards of propriety and probity. The standard of conduct is higher than that expected of a layman and also higher than that expected of an advocate. In fact, even his private life must adhere to high standards of probity and propriety, higher than those deemed acceptable for others, and therefore a judge can ill afford to seek shelter from the fallen standards of society. I unquote. Purity of foundation of justice has to be maintained at all costs and is non-negotiable. Process of judging requires a legally trained mind, free from all bias, prejudice, fear or favor, affection or ill will. However expert you may be in law, legal knowledge, if these qualities are lacking in you, you will not qualify as judge and only become an instrument of miscarriage of justice. As law graduate, you all have come as a very well read in various subjects of law. Letters of law you have read. As judge, you now have to understand the spirit, philosophy and essence of law to correctly apply to the facts of a given case in hand to ensure that justice is done. When I was a lawyer, one of my Chief Justice, while demitting office and addressing bar and the bench, and he had to his credit about 40 years of experience as a judge and as a lawyer, what he said was a honest confession that even after having acquired skill and knowledge in legal profession, he is not sure whether his knowledge in the field of law is even a drop of an ocean. The moral of the story is that never carry a notion that you know every aspect of law. We are learners for life. I can say with my personal experience that every day when I walk out of the court, my understanding and knowledge of law, notion of justice is enriched further. It is said to err is human, no one is perfect. It is important to learn from mistakes. Never ever hesitate to discuss an issue you feel requires better understanding. Senior and experienced judicial officers will always guide you. In the process of judging, a judge is required to apply first principles of law, statute law, and judgment law, which we call the judgments and the law precedents. Please don't stop at plectrum or head note. Read the entire judgment, the facts, and then find out what is the ratio of the judgment. Read at least, it's my advice, read at least one judgment every day. It will be of immense help in enhancing judicial skill and excellence. Then we are happy, you are new generation, you all know better than us that use of technology is the need of hour. We are sure that you will be using technology to optimize your judicial functioning and efficiency. You are all going to be value addition to justice delivery system of the state. There are a lot of challenges, huge pendency of cases there. Per judge load is also very high. So there is no escape from high level of competencies needed to be continuously updated with changing dimensions and development of various aspects of civil and criminal law. You will be joining the institution, our district judiciary, which is the gateway to the judicial system. The people, poor litigants will come at your doorstep. And I must tell you, when you are joining the district justice delivery system, in Rajasthan, we have uploaded 24 lakh cases which are staring at you. So it's a serious job. And last but not the least, a judge is not known by how he looks. It's not known by what he wears, what he eats, and what he does outside. A judge is known by his judgments. And I'll give you two very short examples. One, my experience, the other I have read. You see, when I became a judge, after 4 or 5 years, I was sitting with the Chief Justice and senior judges in a full bench. And at that time, an important aspect of interpretation of proviso section 372 CRPC came up for consideration before us. So during the course of arguments, full bench judgments of 4 to 5 high courts were placed for our consideration. And then after the argument was concluded, it took about 2 days to conclude. Then my Chief Justice handed over that brief to me and told me that you have to write the judgment. So I went through various judgments, laws, principles, everything. And then I penned down a judgment to take the view that proviso section 372 CRPC, which gives right to the victims as defined under section 2WA of the CRPC, does not require any leave of the court. That was a bold proposition, but that was the judgment rendered. The Supreme Court thereafter in one of the cases held that no, in such cases also leave to appeal is necessary. No exception can be made merely on the ground that the appeal is against an acquittal order or against inadequacy of sentence or inadequate compensation is being filed by the victim. That was really an aspect of development of law with regard to participatory role of victims in the criminal justice delivery system. The Supreme Court judgment, however, impliedly overruled all the full bench judgments of different high courts, including my parent high court. But then that was again referred to a larger bench. And the larger bench upheld the view which was taken by some of the high courts that leave to appeal is not necessary if the victim chooses to file an appeal against judgment of acquittal or for other 2 grounds. And my judgment was greatly inspired by a very erudite judgment written in a full bench by Honorable Judge of Punjab and Haryana High Court. And then when I met him in one conference at Udaipur, at Hyderabad, when I was sitting, some told me that he is one of the judges who has written that full bench judgment. So I got up, went to him, and felt proud to be introduced to tell him that, sir, I have also taken the same view which you have taken. You know who that was Honorable Justice Surikant. So I had never met him, but I knew him through his judgments. The other very interesting story I wanted to share only to close my speech today, and that is what an incident. The Chief Justice of New York State Court of Appeal, on his first appointment as Chief Judge, proudly showed his wife the chair in the courtroom of his illustrious predecessor in office nearly half a century ago, Chief Justice Benjamin Cardozo, and is a legend among the judges in the United States. All of us know about it. And he said to his wife in a very reverential whisper, "See, this is Cardozo's chair, and this is where I will sit." His wife responded not very reverentially. She said yes, and after 50 years, 5 more Chief Justices will also sit on this chair, and still it will be called Cardozo's chair. So take the message. You are known by your work, you are known by your judgments. So I extend all of you best of the wishes, work hard, and whenever you find you have some difficulty, you are new judicial officers, never hesitate to seek guidance from seniors. Your academy is always there. All the judges of the High Court are always available because they are all guardian judges of all the districts. Whenever you find any difficulty, please come to us. We will help you and ensure that you prove to be the sentinel on qui vive and wipe the tears of those who have come to the court to get justice. Thank you. Jai Hind.
धन्यवाद लॉर्डशिप, आपने अपने अनमोल वचनों से हमें लाभान्वित किया। हम सदैव आपके आभारी रहेंगे। कहते हैं कोई भी व्यक्ति एक ही दरिया में 2 बार नहीं उतरता, क्योंकि न ही वह दरिया वही रहता है और न ही वह व्यक्ति। अनुभव इसी का नाम है। जीवन का उद्देश्य जीना है, अनुभव का भरपूर स्वाद लेना है, नए और समृद्ध अनुभव के लिए उत्सुकता और बिना किसी डर के आगे बढ़ना है। इसी कड़ी में मैं आमंत्रित करना चाहती हूँ प्रशिक्षु न्यायिक अधिकारी अंजलि जानू को कि वह इस 1 साल के प्रशिक्षण अवधि के स्वर्णिम पलों के अनुभव हमसे साझा करें।
सुहानी सुबह का आदर भरा नमन। सभा को सुसज्जित करते हुए यहाँ विराजमान अतिथिगण, RSJA परिवार एवं समस्त जन, मैं अंजलि जानू आज अपने आप को खुशकिस्मत समझती हूँ कि मुझे आप सबके सामने अपने बैच के इस 1 साल के सफर को जिस अंदाज से हमने जिया है उसे बयां करने का अवसर मिला। ये 1 साल का अनुभव हमारे पूरे बैच ने जिया है, तो मैं इसे समावेशी बनाने की पूरी कोशिश करूंगी। दलीलें तो सब याद रही, बहस क्या थी भूल गए। 4 अप्रैल 2023 हमारा एकेडमी का पहला दिन। यहाँ उपस्थित हमारे बैच के 109 ऑफिसर्स को एक अतुलनीय एहसास की तरह याद है। माननीय सुप्रीम कोर्ट तथा हाई कोर्ट जजेस की उपस्थिति में होना एक अविश्वसनीय अनुभव था और शायद हम सबके लिए पहला इशारा था कि हमने जिंदगी में एक नेक रास्ता चुना है। ओथ सेरेमनी में हमारे द्वारा ली गई शपथ का एक एक शब्द हमारे जहन में जिंदा है और हमेशा रहेगा। ओथ सेरेमनी के तुरंत बाद हम हमारे निर्धारित सत्र के लिए समय पर उपस्थित नहीं हो सके थे और इस बारे में गुरुकुल के हमारे गुरुजनों ने बाद में हमें समझाया कि चाहे हमारी देरी चंद मिनटों की ही थी, यह देरी हमारे लिए क्षम्य नहीं है। उस दिन हमें एहसास हुआ कि यह गुरुकुल ज़रूरत के समय हमें फटकार भी देगा तो मुसीबत में फरिश्तों की तरह हमें बचाने के लिए सबसे आगे भी आएगा। और इस तरह शुरू हुआ हमारे बैच का हमारे गुरुकुल के साथ ये रिश्ता। इसके बाद इस सफ़र में लिया गया हर कदम इस रिश्ते को और मजबूत बनाते चला गया। अकादमी में सबसे ज़्यादा समय हमने कक्षाओं में बिताया है। कुल 7 में से 4 फेजेस में हम अकादमी में रहे। प्रथम चरण का हर कक्षा में इस एहसास से परिपूर्ण रहना कि हमें ऑनरेबल्स और हमारे न्यायिक परिवार के अन्य जजेस से रूबरू होने का मौका मिला तथा एक विद्यार्थी से एक जज के व्यक्तित्व में ढलने की शुरुआत हुई। जिंदगी की तरह यह सफ़र भी अपने हिस्से के उतार चढ़ाव से परिपूर्ण था। किसी दिन सेशन के बाद एहसास होता कि कहीं हम गलत सफ़र में तो नहीं आ गए, तो किसी सेशन के बाद आत्मविश्वास से विभोर हो जाते हैं। शुरुआती चरण में हम अन्य न्यायिक अधिकारियों के अनुभवों से और लीगल विषयों से चर्चाओं से धीरे धीरे केवल प्रोसीडिंग्स के व्यावहारिक तरीके को समझने की कोशिश करते थे। दूसरे चरण में जब हमने पहली दफ़ा न्यायालय परिसर और कोर्ट की गतिविधियों को एक न्यायिक अधिकारी के तौर पर अनुभव किया, निश्चिततया पुनः वही असमंजस और आत्मविश्वास का खेल शुरू हो गया। हर अधिकारी की कार्यशैली अलग थी, हर कोर्ट के किस्से अलग थे और इस चरण में हम सभी केवल अब तक के हमारे किताबी ज्ञान का धरातल पर क्रियान्वयन समझने की कोशिश कर रहे थे। इस सफ़र का सबसे खूबसूरत सफ़र यह रहा कि जैसे ही हम अकादमी से निकलकर इस न्यायिक परिवार के भिन्न भिन्न सदस्यों से मिले, तो हर एक ने एक स्वर में वेलकम टू द जुडिशियल फैमिली कहकर हमें अपनेपन का एहसास करवाया। यह ख्याल कि राज्य के किसी भी कोने में हमें पोस्टिंग के दौरान जाना पड़ सकता है, झट से अजीब लगना बंद हो गया जब हमने हमारे फील्ड ट्रेनिंग में अलग अलग हिस्सों से आए अधिकारियों को बेफिक्र मन लगाकर सहजता से कार्य करते देखा और परिवार की तरह जुडिशरी की एकता का अनुभव किया। तीसरे चरण के लिए पुनः गुरुकुल आना घर लौट आने जैसा था। अब हमारे सवाल केवल किताबी नहीं थे और वक्ताओं द्वारा सेशंस में इस्तेमाल की गई लीगल शब्दावली अब हमें लैटिन नहीं लगती थी। इस चरण का सबसे यादगार अनुभव रहा हमारा एजुकेशनल कम एक्सकर्जन टूर। पूरे गुरुकुल परिवार के साथ राजस्थान के भिन्न भिन्न हिस्सों से परिचित होना और मात्र एक विद्यार्थी या एक टूरिस्ट की तरह नहीं, अपितु एक न्यायिक अधिकारी की तरह इस सफ़र से हमने हमारे व्यक्तित्व में अनेकों गुण वशीभूत किए। हमारे 9 दिन के इस टूर में जैसलमेर, उदयपुर, माउंट आबू, चित्तौड़ के आकर्षण केंद्र के साथ हमने न्यायिक परिवार की एकता को देखा कि कैसे हर स्थान पर वहां उपस्थित हमारे न्यायिक परिवार के सदस्य हर तरह की व्यवस्था देख रहे थे। जब हम ये पल जी रहे थे, हमें एहसास भी नहीं था कि हम कितना कुछ सीख रहे हैं। सबसे खूबसूरत रहा जब टूर से लौटने के बाद इस पर हमारे गुरुजनों से हमारी चर्चा हुई और एक एक कर वो सभी सीख हमें स्पष्ट होने लगी। अगली फील्ड ट्रेनिंग में हम केवल नए बच्चे नहीं थे। इस बार हमें डायस भी समझ आ रहा था, कर्टसीज भी समझ आ रही थी, न्यायालय की पत्रावली भी समझ आ रही थी, 164 के बयान की प्रक्रियाएं, रेवेन्यू कोर्ट में खसरा खतौनी, और अब हम धीरे धीरे एडमिनिस्ट्रेटिव वर्क भी समझने लगे थे। एक न्यायिक अधिकारी की कार्यशैली के साथ साथ उनकी जीवन शैली भी। इस बार अकादमी लौटने पर हम आत्मविश्वास से भरपूर थे। ढेरों सवालों और व्याकुलताओं से हमारे विद्वान वक्ताओं को परेशान करने के लिए तत्पर थे, मगर हमारा नादान दिमाग एक बार फिर गुरुकुल द्वारा परिनिर्धारित सेशन और आमंत्रित विद्वान अधिकारियों के समक्ष नतमस्तक हो गया। हमारे सवाल दागने से पहले उस पर सेशन तैयार हो चुके होते थे और हमें और अधिक सोचने पर विवश कर देते थे। अंतिम फील्ड ट्रेनिंग में हम अत्यंत तैयारी और जज्बे से गए तथा समस्त अधिकारियों ने हमें सीखने का पूरा मौका दिया। इस बार हमने डायस भी संभालने का अनुभव किया, ऑर्डर व जजमेंट्स भी लिखे, कोर्ट प्रोसीडिंग्स को प्रभावी तरीके से चलाने के गुण भी आत्मसात करने की कोशिश की, एनडीपीएस की इन्वेंट्री, इंक्वेस्ट की पेचीदगियां, डाइंग डिक्लेरेशन की संजीदगी और वॉइस सैंपल जैसे कार्य भी सीखे। इस चरण के अंतिम दिन भी इस एहसास से कोई अछूता नहीं था कि अगली बार हम एक ट्रेनी नहीं, एक अधिकारी की हैसियत से न्यायालय में विराजमान होंगे, और यह एहसास जितना रोमांचित है उतना ही बेचैन कर देने वाला। और इन्हीं सब भावनाओं के साथ हम अकादमी में एक आखिरी बार एज ए ट्रेनी लौट कर आए। गुरुकुल ने अपने रिश्ते का बखूबी पालन करते हुए कभी हमें यक्ष के प्रश्नों से विचलित किया तो कभी मलहम की तरह हमारी बेचैनी को आत्मविश्वास में बदल दिया। हर दिन, हर सेशन अपने आप में एक संपूर्ण अनुभव रहा। कोर्ट प्रोसीडिंग्स में आने वाली समस्याओं के समाधान, एडमिनिस्ट्रेटिव कार्य की आधारभूत समझ, व्यावहारिक ज्ञान, पर्सनल वर्क लाइफ बैलेंस, लीगल रिसर्च, आईटी ट्रेनिंग, एफएसएल विजिट, जेल की कार्रवाइयाँ, कॉपिंग, नज़ारत जैसे सेक्शंस, और इन सब के बीच संविधान के मूलभूत आधारों का स्मरण तथा इस पाक कार्य की पवित्रता का एहसास हमारे 1 साल के प्रशिक्षण का निचोड़ रहा। हमारे बैच का सौभाग्य रहा कि हमारा प्रवेशन हाईकोर्ट की प्लेटिनम जुबली के साथ कोइंसाइड किया और हम शायद सेंटेनरी जजेस की श्रेणी में शामिल हुए। अकादमी की कुछ खास बातें मैं और साझा करना चाहूँगी। फील्ड ट्रेनिंग के दौरान एकेडमी द्वारा समय समय पर वीसी से फीडबैक सेशंस हमें सही दिशा में मार्गदर्शित करने में मददगार रहे। एकेडमी में हुए सेशंस में भी हमसे फीडबैक लिया जाता था, हमारे इनपुट्स पूछे जाते थे। अकादमी की लाइब्रेरी हमारे लिए अत्यंत लाभदायक रही। एकेडमी की शामें खेलकूद से मशगूल रहती थी। एक तरफ वॉलीबॉल कोर्ट की तरफ से वाहवाही आ रही होती थी तो कहीं लेट नाइट बैडमिंटन के मैचेस थे। कभी टेबल टेनिस की टिकटॉक ने इस सफ़र को बेहद दिलचस्प बनाया और हमें याद दिलाया कि खेलकूद भी इस सफ़र का अहम हिस्सा है। अंत में कंक्लूड हुई खेलकूद प्रतियोगिताएं, भव्य रूप से आयोजित क्रिकेट मैच, सांस्कृतिक संध्या और इस 1 साल में समय समय पर आयोजित ऑनरेबल्स के साथ भोजन व जलपान के खास पल, हाईकोर्ट विजिट आदि ने हमारे प्रशिक्षण के अनुभवों को इतना खास बना दिया कि शायद ही कोई शब्द इस भावना के साथ न्याय कर सकेंगे। गुरुकुल के बारे में बात करें और हमारे पंच परमेश्वर के बारे में कुछ ना कहें तो सारी बातें बेमानी होंगी। सब धरती कागज करूं, लिखनी सब बन राय, 7 समंदर की मसी करूं, गुरु गुण लिखा न जाए। अर्थात सब पृथ्वी को कागज, सब जंगल को कलम, 7 समंदर की शाही बनाकर लिखने पर भी गुरु के गुण लिखे नहीं जा सकते। मगर फिर भी हमारी भावनाओं को आकार देने के लिए मैं एक नम्र प्रयास करना चाहूँगी। हमारे गुरुकुल की धुरी ज्ञान से सुसज्जित बरगद की तरह हमारे माननीय डायरेक्टर कमल छंगानी सर ने सदैव हमें अपने यक्ष के प्रश्नों से विचलित किया तो साथ ही अपने जवाबों से हमें विस्मित किया। हमें अनुशासन सिखाने के लिए कई दफ़ा इन्होंने बनावटी कठोरता दिखाई, मगर अगले ही पल यह कहकर हमें शांत कर देते कि हम बैठे हैं तो तुम्हें क्या फिक्र है। सर का ज्ञान, उनका प्यार, उनका सानिध्य प्राप्त करना हमारे लिए सौभाग्य की बात रही। एडिशनल डायरेक्टर एडमिनिस्ट्रेशन मेघना मैम कि समय समय पर सुनाई हुई कहावतों से हमने ये तो सीख लिया कि कोई भी सिचुएशन हो, कोई ना कोई कहावत उसके लिए बनी होती है। हर हालात में अपने तरीके से संभालना हमने मैम से सीखा। एडिशनल डायरेक्टर एकेडमिक्स सीमा मैम का हर रोज़ हमारे साथ हर लेक्चर में बैठना और हमारी तमाम नादानियों के बावजूद उतने ही प्यार से हमें समझना और समझाना अपने आप में धैर्य और शालीनता पर हम सबके लिए एक सबक है। डेप्यूटी डायरेक्टर एडमिनिस्ट्रेशन विकास कालेर सर के बारे में तो कुछ भी कहना उनके हार्डवर्क के आगे कम ही होगा। चाहे हम रात को कितना भी लेट सोएं या सुबह कितना भी जल्दी उठें, चाहे सिचुएशन कितनी भी नाजुक हो या कितनी भी बेफिक्र, सर हमेशा हर सिचुएशन के लिए रेडी होते हैं और इन्हीं से हमने सीखा है अनुशासन और नियमितता। डेप्यूटी डायरेक्टर एकेडमिक्स गोविंद सर हमारे लिए एक मेंटर और एक दोस्त का सही संतुलन रहे। इनसे हमने सीखा कि कैसे अपने प्रोफेशनल दायरे को पार किए बिना आप अच्छे रिश्ते बना सकते हैं। थैंक यू हमारे पंच परमेश्वर को। चाहे भोजन हो या किसी की तबीयत, किसी का जन्मदिन हो या शादी, अकादमी के दौरान हो या फील्ड पर, गुरुकुल ने हमेशा हर कदम पर हमें एक परिवार का एहसास करवाया है। और इसी भावना के साथ मैं आप सबको यकीन दिलाना चाहूँगी कि हम इस न्यायिक परिवार को और मजबूत व सुदृढ़ बनाने के लिए सदैव प्रयासरत रहेंगे और न्यायिक सेवा की गरिमा पर कभी आंच नहीं आने देंगे। अंत में मैं यह कहकर अपनी वाणी को विराम देना चाहूँगी कि हम इस एम्प्टी टम्बलर में यक्ष के प्रश्न भरकर हमारे स्टूडेंट ऑफ लॉ को हमेशा जिंदा रखेंगे। इस सफ़र को खास बनाने के लिए आप सभी का तहे दिल से एक बार पुनः शुक्रिया।
Thank you, Anjali, for so candidly encapsulating our journey this past year. Not all lessons can be taught through textbooks and in classrooms. The most valuable lessons in life are not learned until we learn them through our own experiences. And with that, I invite Trainee Officer Shraddha Shukla to share her experience with the induction training program.
A very good morning to all the respected dignitaries on the dais and off the dais, and my dear friends and colleagues gathered here. Today, I, Shraddha Shukla, am standing here with the overwhelming emotions as I reflect on the transformative journey we have embarked upon together through this training program. The mystery of human existence lies not in just staying alive, but in finding something to live for. These lines by Fyodor Dostoevsky made me realize that most of the time we search for the purpose to make sense of our existence, as to why are we here in the mid of a stream of a life or the flow of the time that cannot be stopped. However, there is a special attribute of a stream that it is always coming from somewhere, always going somewhere, and wherever it goes, it takes in something and gives away something. And this process culminates into one that shapes life. And that string my soul was weaving met a watershed event at August 30th when our lives underwent a transformative shift as our aspirations were finally realized and our destinies were laid out before us on a single sheet of paper. Months of anticipation culminated at the moment when we all finally arrived in this enchanting city of Jodhpur on 4th of April. Upon my arrival at the academy, my gaze was drawn to the emblem of this institution bearing the motto, Karmanev hi Sansiddhi. It is taken from Srimad Bhagavad Gita, which says, Karmanev hi Sansiddham astitah jankadhya lok sangraham evapi sampashyan kartum arhasi. It signifies the achievement of perfection through unattached action. And there cannot be more apt line than these to depict our work, as the role of judges demand a profound journey from emotionality to impartiality. Our journey started with the oath we all took to bear true faith and allegiance to the Constitution of India, a pledge that deepened our unwavering belief in Adhirajo Rajaram, that is, the law reigns supreme above all else. Our initiation into this Gurukul commenced with a profound teaching from your Lordship, Honorable Justice Dinesh Maheshwari ji, who emphasized that justice should be cause-centric and not person-centric. And your Lordship urged to cultivate curiosity and stressed that asking why about any action or even guides one towards their purpose, touching our hearts with a deeper understanding of our path forward. During this training, I came to understand one fact that we all are gathered here not only because of our uniqueness or wisdom or knowledge, but because our personalities possess the innate ability to adapt and to be shaped into the embodiment of justice and righteousness. As our respected chairman, Honorable Dr. Justice P.S. Bhati sir often reminds us that we are like empty tumblers, capable of being sculpted into the precise character required by this noble profession. Sir also gave us an insight that the introduction of technology and digitization in the judicial system represents a phase of transition for us all. This transition can be seen as a tool to enhance the pursuit of justice and fairness in society. Our respected director, sir, Mr. Kamal Changhani ji, the Chanakya of this Gurukul, whose wisdom precedes his name and who is renowned as an encyclopedia of civil and criminal law, gave us the most important lesson of our life, that is, शालीनता की कोई कीमत नहीं होती, लेकिन शालीनता से सब कुछ खरीदा जा सकता है. Through his classes and his yaksh ke prashn, sir reminded me of the Socrates' philosophy, that is, to know is to know that you know nothing. So whenever we used to think that we had complete knowledge of one concept or one topic, sir made us realize that one cannot know everything, and there is always the scope of learning, and this process of learning is always ongoing. I would also like to address the other mentors of the academy from whom I have learned several qualities that a judicial officer should possess. And if I were to choose few such qualities from all my mentors, then I would say I have learned humility and affability from Meghna ma'am, grace and compassion from Seema ma'am, discipline, calmness and leadership from Vikas sir, and fraternity and patience from Govind sir. And they all gave us the most important quality to learn for is the sense of perspective. Our day at this beautiful academy used to start with the yoga and the melodic tunes of Panchi Banu Urti Firu Mast Gagan Mein, which we were initially very reluctant to attend because of the early morning timings. But during the course of time, we have realized its importance as dynamic and creative intellectual activity, which will help us in future as the nature of our job demands prolonged period of sitting. And now I want to highlight a very special feature of this induction training program, that for every week we had different seating arrangement. For every phase we had different roommates, and for every field training we had different group of batchmates. And that one rule, that one could take lunch and dinner only in the dining hall and not in our rooms. Initially, we did not understand the fruitful purpose behind it, but today, when we all are well acquainted with each other and pass each other with a handshake or a smile, we realize that this special feature inculcated a sense of fraternity within our hearts towards each other. And the love and pampering accompanied with the valuable legal and life lessons we received from our seniors during the field training helped us on our path of transformation and making us learn that journey towards legal and emotional wisdom in the courtroom is critical, not only for enhancing judicial competence, but also for reinforcing the public trust in judicial system. This training also made me understand one fact, that in the heart of every institution beats the dedication of its staff members, the unsung heroes whose unwavering commitment forms the very foundation of our success. They are our silent guardians, the pillars of support. Their presence is not just invaluable, it is the heartbeat of our collective journey towards greatness. Now, since originally I am not from Rajasthan, but I want to share my experience about this beautiful state which I had during the academy training, the field training, and the educational tour organized by our academy. My mind often wonders as to how a state can be so beautifully diverse and culturally rich at the same time. Rajasthan's allure lies in its remarkable blend of natural diversity and cultural richness. One day, I found myself amid the serene Thar desert of Jaisalmer, marveling at its vast emptiness. Next, I stood atop the highest peaks of Guru Shikhar, the world's oldest mountain ranges of Aravalli, contemplating the profound history witnessed by these magnificent summits. Next, sitting by the tranquil lake shores of Udaipur at the sunset brought a sense of peace, while the small windows of the majestic fort of Chittorgarh evoked a nostalgic longing, drawing my soul into its timeless charm. Navigating through the dense forest of Alwar reminded me of the intricate interdependence of human and flora-fauna within the complex tapestry of existence. Kota's industrial and educational facets resonates with my hometown, Kanpur. The blue city of Jodhpur made my heart sing, while the pink city of Jaipur made my eyes sparkle. Ajmer, the city with the diverse personalities, which was originally founded as Ajmeru, truly reflects its meaning as invincible hills. And at the end, Nathdwara and Bharatpur holds personal significance as the sacred Brij Bhumi, the home of my Radharani and Kanhaiya, making it a place I undeniably belong to. Rajasthan offers a world of experiences. Such a wholesome world Rajasthan is. So for me, perhaps nothing could encapsulate it better than the tagline, Rajasthan Jaane Kya Dikh Jaye. And I really saw my actual self here. So at the end, I want to conclude by saying that for me, it's been a journey of self-discovery where the path itself became the destination. That stream turned into the river, different aspects uniting to create a sense of unity and wholeness. And this is because the ultimate truth lies within oneself or the small universe within. Perhaps this is why the Mundakopanishad teaches us Satyameva Jayate. And today we all are leaving this academy to sit on that pious seat with the same message of Satyameva Jayate in our heart. Thank you.
Thank you, Shraddha. His Lordship, with great humility, has previously said that he had the good fortune of interviewing some of us. Your Lordship, the good fortune is in fact ours that we had a mentor and guardian such as yourself looking over us throughout the training program. And we hope that you continue to do so in the future. With that, I invite Honorable Mr. Justice Sandeep Mehta, Judge, Supreme Court of India, to bestow upon us his words of wisdom.
A very warm good afternoon to all. My esteemed brother, Honorable Justice Surikant, Judge, Supreme Court of India. My esteemed brother, Honorable Justice Augustine Masih, Judge, Supreme Court of India. Honorable the Patron-in-Chief and Honorable the Chief Justice of my High Court, the Rajasthan High Court, Honorable Justice M.M. Srivastav. My esteemed brother, Chairperson of the Rajasthan State Judicial Academy, Dr. P.S. Bhati. Honorable Justice Dinesh Mehta, my esteemed sister and brother judges of the Rajasthan High Court, Registrar General, PPS, officers of the registry, the teachers of this Gurukul, the director Sri Kamal Chandani and his colleagues, and above all, dear judicial officers. Yes, as the anchor rightly said, that it was indeed a turn of fortune that my connection with this batch is not limited to this valedictory session. I had the chance to interview some of you before your selections as judicial officers. And I'd like to share with this August gathering that it was a learning experience for me. The proficiency, the informed knowledge of the candidates whom we interviewed was an eye-opener. I'd like to tell the August gathering that one of the candidates came out and to an answer what he did for a living, he said he is working in the share market and also doing some trading in bitcoins. So we had a professor with us who was having some knowledge on this subject. So he immediately put a question, do you know anything about blockchain? And prompt came the answer. Then we would want, we need not delve any further. We will run out of questions, but these children, they are so efficient and proficient that they will answer everything. But dear officers, whether that knowledge which you acquired by reading books or by pursuing your different pursuits would really serve you in the path to dispensation of justice, that is the question. And that is where this training in the Judicial Academy becomes very vital. how a particular set of laws is to be applied to the facts available on record is where the true test of a judicial officer lies. The Academy, as I had a long-standing association, I'd like to tell my esteemed brothers that we have had the practice of case studies, wherein we provide the case papers to the officers and ask them to discuss on the various facets. That hones their skills on the application of law to the facts of the case. You are very proficient, well versed in technology. You've been trained for 1 year. What will be the challenges when you go out in the field? When you are posted as judges, one of the fundamental challenges, I'll tell you, is to find a stenographer. And I'll confess that I'm finding the same issue despite my elevation to the Supreme Court. So that's a dying art. The reason is very simple. Stenography is a dying art. What will you do about it? I'll share one experience of mine. As you know that after your selection and before you joined, I had been appointed the Chief Justice of Guwahati High Court. And immediately after taking over, I was told that Guwahati High Court is celebrating its platinum jubilee, as Rajasthan High Court is doing now. And that Honorable the Prime Minister is coming to grace one of the programs. I became very apprehensive. Of course, English stenographers are there in abundance in Guwahati, but I knew that Honorable the Prime Minister is very fond of speaking in Hindi. So that was a challenge. What to do? So I tried to find a solution. You are very adept to technology, but we are old people. We are trying to make the transition slowly but surely. Under the able guidance of Honorable the Chief Justice of India, every Supreme Court judge who sits in court number 1 is required compulsorily to work only from the system. No papers are allowed. So I thought how to prepare a speech in Hindi. And then it clicked to my mind that there is a software. You can use Google speech, voice to text. And I prepared that speech. And when I gave it to my private secretary, he was amazed. Sir, how could you get this speech in such a short time in Hindi? You know, what happened thereafter? They had to install the font. In Guwahati, Hindi is not used. So they installed the font, and the parts of speech which I delivered in Hindi were the ones on which Honorable the Prime Minister gave the maximum attention. He responded to that. So that is the importance of technology. You will have to put that technology in use once you are adorning the chair of a judicial officer. I warn you, there will be a dearth of stenographers. Of course, most of you are very adept at typing, but still, many a times you feel that if there was someone to take the dictation, it will be good. One more thing I would like to tell you, the practice which we had started, the director will bear with me, that whether we give a training to the officers of giving dictation of judgment. So we started that in the 2020 batch, wherein we formed a group of senior judicial officers who are working in the particular district. And during the field training, they were compulsorily required to dictate the judgments in presence of the trainee judicial officers. It's a very important part of your dispensation of, rather the most important part, to deliver the judgment. So for delivering the judgment, unless you have that training, you will find it very difficult, at least in the initial days. There have been instances, I'll tell you, wherein the officers simply tell their clerk or the stenographer, you please dictate the judgment, bring out the draft judgment, and then I'll correct it. That is absolutely not permissible. You have been trained in one of the finest institutions of this country, so it is expected from you that you will be adept at your dictating your own judgments. Once you start dictating your own judgments, people will start identifying you by your judgments. Your line of thoughts will be apparent from what you write. So it's most important for a judicial officer to learn how to write a judgment and use the technology for that. As they say, that learning is a continuing process in the life of a judicial officer and a judge. You will find challenges every day. You will find we are stuck with a problem, where to go, whom to ask. So the academy faculty must have told you that we had initiated a blog. You can post a question and you'll get the answer from the academy teachers. You can, of course, discuss with your seniors about your problems, but there is a flip side to that. We've been experiencing that whenever the judicial officers go out in the field, the seniors, apparently for no good reason, advise that rejection is the safest policy. This, to my mind, is totally fallacious. Friends, time has come that every judgment of yours is under scrutiny. If you create an image of being a negative judicial officer, you will be, some or the other time, you will be chastised by the appellate court. So my advice to each one of you is to be positive. Read from the judgments of Honorable Justice Suryakant what being positive is. Being positive doesn't mean that you have to be relief oriented. Being positive only means that when a litigant has come to you, he is claiming relief, and under the four corners of law, he is entitled to relief, then don't find ways of denying relief to him. Wherever your discretion allows grant of relief to a poor or downtrodden section of the society, please decide in favor of that grant of relief and not otherwise. These are some of the experiences I am sharing with you. As judicial officers, as respected chairman said, that it is a 24/7 task to be a judge. Honorable Chief Justice said, 24/7 you are judges. This continuous work as a judge, and with the pressure of work, that takes a toll on your health. So it is imperative and important for every judge to ensure that some part of the day is spared for keeping yourself in good shape. You may pursue a sport, you may pursue a hobby, but you must take care of your health while you are discharging your duties. One important aspect which a judicial officer, to my mind, as you will have an opportunity to work in all corners of Rajasthan. You know, the challenge which the humanity is facing now, the biggest challenge, that is climate change. You see this beautiful academy, the wonderful plantation. You know, you have a contribution to that. इस अकादमी की एक परिपाटी रही है, बहुत ही खूबसूरत परिपाटी, जो चेयरमैन साहब बताना भूल गए, मैं उन्हें बताऊंगा कि प्रत्येक बैच इस अकादमी के ट्रेनिंग का पूरा वर्ष पूरा होने के पश्चात इसमें वृक्षारोपण के लिए अपना कंट्रीब्यूशन करता है. आपको बताया गया नहीं, मुझे पता नहीं, लेकिन मैं आज आपको बता रहा हूं. तो ये जो खूबसूरत पौधे आप देख रहे हैं इस एकेडमी में, ये सेलेक्ट भले हमने किए होंगे, लेकिन इसमें बहुत बड़ा योगदान आपका रहा है. तो आप जहां भी जाएं, जिस भी जिले में आपका पदस्थापन हो, ये बहुत आवश्यक है कि आप प्रकृति की ओर अपना ध्यान जरूर दें. जहां संभव हो वृक्षारोपण करने का प्रयास करें. हमारे मध्य एक बड़े पर्यावरणविद बैठे हैं. मैं माननीय न्यायाधीश सूर्यकांत साहब से जब बात कर रहा था, तो आपने मुझे बताया कि आपने अपने पूर्वजों के गांव में वाटर बॉडीज उन्होंने, उनके दादाजी ने जो तैयार की थी, उसको प्रिजर्व करने का बीड़ा उठाया हुआ है, और साथ ही बहुत वृहद रूप से वृक्षारोपण किया है उस पूरे इलाके में. Let that experience be an inspiration for all of us, and let us take a vow that we will add greenery to this world which is facing great challenges. Friends, we are here to listen to the erudite words of Honorable Justice Suryakant. Every word of his is an ocean of wisdom. I had the great opportunity of being with his lordship on the bench just yesterday, and that 45 minutes has opened my vision like anything. The positivity, the manner in which the file is to be prepared. Honorable Justice Suryakant has a note which continues till the file is concluded, till the case is concluded. You will have that opportunity. Why? Because you will hold the charge of the particular court for 3 years in the ordinary course. So if you start preparing the notes of a particular brief right at the inception, it will help you to write the judgment once the case is over. So please adopt that practice. We are eager to hear from His Lordship regarding his vast experiences and tremendous wisdom. So I will not take much more of your time, and I will close my address with a quote from John Roberts. He said, "Judges are like umpires. Umpires don't make the rules, they apply them. The role of an umpire and judge is critical. They make sure everybody plays by the rules, but it is a limited role. Nobody ever went to a ball game to see the umpire." I am gratefully and deeply thankful to the Rajasthan State Judicial Academy, Honorable the Chief Justice and the Rajasthan High Court, that you have remembered me on this occasion of the valedictory session of this batch. Thank you. Jai Bharat.
धन्यवाद लॉर्डशिप, आपके वचन सदैव हमारा मार्गदर्शन करते रहेंगे। अब मैं आमंत्रित करना चाहती हूँ माननीय उच्चतम न्यायालय के न्यायाधिपति एवं राजस्थान उच्च न्यायालय के पूर्व मुखिया श्री अगस्तिन जॉर्ज मसीह साहब को। श्रीमान के सानिध्य में हमें बहुत कम समय मिला, किंतु आज श्रीमान से अनुरोध है कि वह प्रेरणा के शब्द व आशीर्वचन से हमें लाभान्वित करें।
Should I start formally? I think we have been doing it a lot. Can cut that short because I know Brother Suryakant, Brother Mehta and others would accept it as it is, as having been said. I did have an opportunity earlier to talk to you all. Therefore, I'm not repeating that. I believe that whatever I had said has been at least taken by you. How many of you are following it, that's another aspect. But what I am only wanting to say is, each and every aspect which two of your colleagues have come and talked about, if you follow 50% of that, provided you follow, I don't think there should be any difficulty. Those are the things and points which have been taught by the Judicial Academy, as has been highlighted. If followed by you, I don't think there'll be anything which would be lacking in a judicial officer holding the responsibility of a judge. I'm not very sure as to whether you have heard the words which was uttered from here. Most of the things have been talked about, and therefore I'm cutting everything short, because repeating would probably not be a very advisable thing now. What I'm only wanting to emphasize upon is, and I had earlier also talked to you about it, we as a bench is not working independently, or it's not our dictates. We don't dictate the court. We run the court. And for running the court, there is another essential part. That's the bar. Please never forget that. without their assistance, probably will find it more difficult to handle. Handling the court is an art. You're not supposed to be always sitting and being a spectator as to whatever is being happening in the court or what is happening in the court. You are required to conduct the court. And for that, you may have to stop someone, you may have to encourage others to come out, and you may even have to, at times, be polite, be patient always, but firm when required. That's something which over a period of time you'll learn, and I'm sure the academy, the teachers in the academy and the members of the academy and the judges who have been coming and meeting you would have already shared it with you all. This is the time now when you have to practically practice what you have learned. It's easier said than done. It's a phrase which we all hear. But then now it is time to do. Please give effect to what has been taught to you, what has been shared with you, and the experiences which one has already shared with you, you're not supposed to, and I don't think it would be advisable also that you also go through the same rigmarole. Learn from the experiences and start from that point. Let not the same thing happen to you. What happens generally is you want to test whether that experience actually had happened with that officer or not. Why do you want that when you know the consequences? But yes, all good experiences should be imbibed and given effect to, provided you are able to do that. An aspect which has been highlighted by Brother Sandeep, I also emphasize upon that, and I've always been doing that. Facts are sacrosanct. Law does not apply in isolation. It only applies on the given facts and circumstances of the case. Another aspect which I want to emphasize upon is, don't be a stricto statutory worm. You are there to do justice. And the procedural things are only helping you in that process. That should not lead to injustice. Example I can give with regard to the written statement which has to be filed within a specified period. A particular application has to be filed within some specified time. Those are only guidelines, provided you have justifiable reasons for accepting the delay as to why it has occurred. As has been emphasized, I am also saying that we are judges. And if we are judges, we are meant to do justice. You are not merely deciding cases. If you are doing justice, always remember, we are dealing with humans. Each person is different. Each person may have his own typical problems and therefore he wants a solution to that. Please don't think that what has been written in the statute is the correct position always. Therefore, I am saying again, try and do and help a person if you can within the statutory provisions. Well, if you have scope, go in for expanding the scope of the statutory provisions. For that, you will have to give chance to the lawyers also to really explain it to you as to what they think. A new idea comes and you know there is already a judgment on that aspect and therefore you snub that person. Give him an opportunity to build that aspect. That's how the law grows. It's not stagnant. It has to move on. And we have to move on with that. The society changes. The requirements of the society change. If you see the judgments of the Honorable Supreme Court, with the passage of time, the judgments also have changed. We have adapted. Our constitution is not a stagnant or a dead constitution. It's a living constitution. So are our statutory provisions. We are dealing with humans. And therefore the situations change and therefore the statutory provisions have to be accordingly modified. So these are some things which I wanted to emphasize upon. As has been rightly said by Brother Srivastava, we are judges once we are labeled. Everyone is looking at you. I'll just give you a small example and a very crude one. A new judge a lawyer was appointed as a judge and he was transferred out to some other court, state. He thought no one would know me and therefore he along with his family went to see a movie. Well, obviously, as generally it happens, he was carefree and indulging in so many other things which he was not supposed to. As a judge, you are not supposed to. The very next day, it was the talk of the town. One person, if knows you and sees you, the thing is going to travel like anything. And you'll find lawyers everywhere. You'll find lawyers everywhere. So don't think that no one is looking at you when you are in the society, moving out. Personal life, yes, you need to spend time with them. They are also important as your work is. Sharing the time, management time. That's another aspect you need to take care. Health aspect has been already highlighted upon, but the family should not be ignored. They need your support, they need your time, they need your emotional support also at times, and there are other aspects also. The other aspects I am not saying anything about, you have already learnt about, but these are some aspects which a judge has to face while dealing with the courts. Please have good control over your staff. What the staff is doing, you should be aware of. Because they may also bring a bad name to the judge without the judge knowing. I'm not further elaborating. Please be careful, conscious, but continue with your hobbies. Don't stop with them. Being a judge does not mean that you do not continue with your hobbies. But then I have said already, manage your time. The time management is important. The work should not suffer, your family should not suffer, and your hobbies should also not suffer. Thank you very much and wish you all the best for this new journey which you are moving on to. May God bless you and show you the true path of peace and justice. Namaskar.
Thank you, Lordship, for your blessings.
प्रशिक्षु न्यायिक अधिकारी से न्यायिक अधिकारी बनने का सफर आज पूरा होने जा रहा है। यहाँ उपस्थित हर प्रशिक्षु न्यायिक अधिकारी भावुक व गौरवान्वित होने जा रहा है। इस क्षण को बयां करने के लिए शायद आज लफ्ज कम पड़ जाएंगे, पर होठों पर हल्की सी मुस्कान और आंखों में आंसू हमारी दास्तान लिख जाएंगे। इन्हीं भावनाओं को शाब्दिक रूप देने के लिए व हमारी हौसला अफजाई के लिए मैं करबद्ध निवेदन करती हूँ उच्चतम न्यायालय के न्यायाधिपति परम सम्माननीय श्रीमान सूर्यकांत साहब को कि आप अपने अनमोल वचनों से हमें लाभान्वित करें।
Two eminent jurists who are my colleague in the Supreme Court, my brother Justices Augustine George Massey and Justice Sandeep Mehta on dais, Chief Justice M.M. Srivastava, Honorable Chief Justice of Rajasthan High Court and Patron Chief, Rajasthan State Judicial Academy, Justice P.S. Bhatti, Chairperson, Rajasthan State Judicial Academy, Justice Dinesh Mehta on the dais, my brother and sister judges of Rajasthan High Court, Registrar General and other officers of the Rajasthan High Court establishment, learned director, officers, faculty of this Rajasthan State Judicial Academy, and my very dear judicial officers, who we know that you are ready physically and mentally both to join the battlefield. Members of the legal fraternity, ladies and gentlemen. I feel it's a great honor to me to be here with you on this valedictory function on completion of your induction training program. I would like to convey my heartfelt congratulations to each one of you for successfully completing this training, which undoubtedly heralds the beginning of a noble and challenging journey in the realm of justice. Very eloquently, Justice Dr. Bhatti, Chief Justice Srivastava, my brother judges Justice Sandeep Mehta and Justice Massey have given you a very comprehensive insight of the practical scenario which you will face when you will start presiding the courts, maybe on Monday onwards. I am quite sure that in addition to what they have spoken today, the learning director, the faculty of the Judicial Academy, and frequent distinguished visitors, including the honorable judges who have been coming and imparting different sessions with you, they must have sensitized you the responsibilities and challenges which you will face as judicial officers. One of the young lady judicial officer very intelligently and in a very literary sense, she explained a very brief idea about the different parts of the state of Rajasthan. All of you will be spread over the state. The state has many regions. Regions have their own dialects. Regions have their own weather. Regions have their own local people. Region might have varied litigation. What you will find in Sri Ganganagar may not be the litigation you find in Jaisalmer. All these are challenges for the new judicial army which the State Judicial Academy has prepared for the battlefield, as I said. Some of the things which my colleagues on the dais have spoken, I need not to repeat. It has been very well explained to you that how you need to be positive when you go in the field. My brother Sandeep explained to you that you find that in a case where the absolute judicial discretion lies with you, you should tilt towards the relief-oriented approach. The advantages of the technology, particularly AI in these days, those have also been briefly highlighted. That you are a judge on 24/7 is sufficient to sensitize you with the example which my brother Masih has given to you, that how all of us need to conduct ourselves even beyond the court hours in a particular defined manner. The handling of the court, how to deal with the lawyers, particularly when sometimes you find that some of them are really like bull in China shop. These are challenges and you will face them. The statutes are sometimes give a very static and a very disappointing picture in terms of the literal language of the provision, and you find that your heart is crying to do something which probably you perceive that the statute is not permitting. Then how to find out a zigzag road where you can relate to the real and true justice without doing any violence with that provision. These are all the thought processing, the art, the innovation of a judicial officer, a judge, whether he is sitting in Supreme Court or whether he is sitting as a judicial magistrate. This is a challenge, this is a confrontation which each one of us face every day. And mind you, you are our first representative at the grassroots level. The litigant sees you only. Not many of them can afford to reach Jodhpur or Jaipur. Only a few of them probably can afford to reach Delhi and to see our actual faces. There, even 70% or maybe more than that, litigants, even if they reach, they will not be able to understand what these so-called leading lawyers have argued about their matters, how the judge has reacted, and how in a matter as I and my brother Sandeep were sitting yesterday in the court, that how in an average 4 minutes or 5 minutes, how we hear the lawyer and we disclose our mind and take a final decision also. But that is how the process goes. There are matters we hear for days and days also, but there are matters where we don't spend even more than 4 or 5 minutes. But then the litigant who comes before you, he will come not once, he will keep on coming. He is coming date after date, adjournment after adjournment. He is bringing witness, he is examining, his lawyer is there, he is consulting his lawyer. Many a times the local counsel will speak in the local language. Most of the time you presiding officer also, only to reach out to the litigating public, will also speak in the common language. So that litigant in court will find some sense of belongingness with you, which he finds miserably missing in the superior courts. And that puts all of you under a great onerous responsibility. Because that touch, that feel of a litigant, because when he enters the court, before that, what the kind of dreams, perceptions he has about it. People will normally talk that I am going to a temple of justice. And here is a temple of justice where there is actually a living God. And that living God must act in a manner that the litigant really starts worshipping you. So challenge is very big, that how to modulate, how to give a perception, and that perception of real truth, that the litigant who has come to my court must leave it, even if he loses the case, that sense that मैं भगवान के मंदिर में तो गया था, मेरी अपनी किस्मत खराब है कि मुझे न्याय नहीं मिला. He should blame himself, not the court for that. He might be feeling, his lawyer might be telling anything to him, But the litigant must get a feeling that it's only because of the demerit of the case that I have lost it, not because anything in the conduct of the court. And that's why the responsibilities are quite, as I said, very high on you. You will not be the servants of the procedural niceties. That is also one of my brother has very ably pointed out to you. But then, this responsibility you will be able to discharge only when you are physically and mentally possess a very robust health. And therefore, today, that very important addition that has been made in the academy, and wherever you are posted, you will concentrate on that part. That's why my brothers have pointed out to you that please be careful about your health, mental and physical both, because you have to travel a long journey, and that long journey sometimes is not always full of comforts. That journey may give you certain moments, certain situations where you find yourself in a very daunted manner. Why that daunted manner? These are all practical things which a few points which I would like to share with you ultimately, but I am just only briefly pointing out to you. In that long journey, there will be very stressful times also. There will be comfortable times also. The joy and sorrow are part of life. And when you face the both, for that you need to have a physical and mental fitness. Therefore, I am on that point, and my brothers have rightly pointed out to you that control on your staff is also very important. All these things have been shared with you. Having said that, let me first generalize certain things which we all expect from you people as presiding judges at different levels, whether you are in civil court, whether you are in legal service authority, whether you are a judicial magistrate, or any other form that your services are being availed. Few other things which my brothers have also indicated, but I would like to lay emphasis on that. One is on the compassion. A judicial officer must necessarily be a person full of compassion. As I said, a litigant coming to you with a high hope that he is coming to a temple of justice. Sometimes litigants are unreasonable, sometimes litigants are very reasonable. But when we talk of litigants, we are not talking of a plaintiff only. We are also talking about a defendant. When we talk of defendant and plaintiff, we are not talking of the parties before you. We are also talking about another set of litigants for whom I have used a coin. I coined a terminology, and in some of my speeches you will find, I have said invisible victims of the legal system. I have used the word invisible victims of the legal system. That is another challenge before you. The plaintiff may come with a very unreasonable, dishonest claim before you. But then in that case, you will take care of the defendant, because according to you, he is being victimized. In another case, the defendant might have acted in a very atrocious manner against the plaintiff. So the plaintiff will be the victim before you. Your compassion will be reflected towards that plaintiff. But there will be cases, there will be certain circumstances, and that our new generation of judges must be mentally aware of, and consciously you must have informed knowledge about this challenge. And that challenge, I keep on repeating everywhere, is of invisible victims of the legal system. Who are those? Let's not forget, many a times there are friendly matches which are played in courts. One person comes projecting himself to the victim, the other person comes projecting himself actually the victimizer, but the victim is someone else who is not before you. There is none who can plead your case, his case before you. And therefore, what is your role? You become plaintiff for that person, you become defendant for that person, you become counsel for that person, and eventually you become the judge for that person. Let me give you one example, and you will find it my brother Justice Augustine Massey might recollect. But I'm pointing out how a very small matter ultimately turned out to be. I was in High Court sitting in a civil revision roster. A matter came to me. Dr. Bhatti, time to hai na? So I was sitting in a revision roster. A matter came to me. The trial court, some application was moved in a pending civil suit under Order 1 Rule 10 for impleadment. That application was dismissed by the trial court. Against that, the revision petition came to me. And the simple argument was that, Lordship, ultimately, I am the person who has purchased this land. I am likely to be directly affected. So if not necessary, I am a proper party. How can I be denied impleadment? I said, who has filed this suit? The lawyer was not very well aware. He said, there are 3 plaintiffs. I said, who are they? So find out that there are 3 minor girls who had filed a suit. 5 minor girls, all 3 sisters, all 3 minor sisters, they had filed a civil suit through their maternal uncle. I said, who is the defendant? He was not aware. I said, I will keep the matter tomorrow, find out. So next day, after 2 days, he came to and apprised me that the defendant is their father. I said, what is the reason why they are fighting against their father? He was not aware. Then again I adjourned the case. Eventually, very briefly I must tell you, that father was a truck driver. Unfortunately, 4th daughter took birth in his family and got infuriated, and he got infuriated with the birth of the 4th daughter, so he murdered his wife. He killed his wife. He was convicted and he was arrested under 302. He had a very prime land near a city. Some people have vultures' eyes on his land. They knew it that now he is left with only 4 minor daughters. Because the girls had lost their mother, the father was in jail, so the maternal uncle took the girls to look after them. And behind them, somebody got executed a power of attorney from him in the jail. Based on that power of attorney, the sale deed was executed, and based upon that sale deed, they came to become party to the suit. The orders which I passed must be running into about, to my mind, 1600 pages orders I have passed from different time to time for 4-5 years. I set aside those sale deeds. I restored the land in favor of the girls. I appointed the local deputy commissioner as the receiver of the land. I got the land auctioned every year. Everything go to the girls' account. The girls were, under my orders, were granted admission in government schools, in private schools in a city. They were granted full scholarship. All monetary benefits under the social welfare schemes of the state, those were granted. The persons who had purchased the sale deed, I penalized them, imposed the cost of 45 lakhs. That amount was recovered from them through the collector, got deposited in the accounts of the girls, put it in the FDRs, that when they will attain majority, then the amount will be released. One of the girls during pendency of the litigation, she passed 10+2, I got her admitted in a government college through the court order, irrespective of merit or no merit. Eventually, when I left the High Court after becoming Chief Justice, I got an invitation card of wedding I couldn't recognize, but then I later came to know that the eldest girl has now, after graduation, got married. You see, that sense of justice must always be there. 24 hours, 24/7, what you require to have is the sense of justice. That anything can happen, but justice cannot be the casualty in my court. That must be your dogged determination. I know sometimes you will find my colleague has been given a very good posting, whereas I have been put in a subdivision where there are no basic amenities. After this air-conditioned judicial academy, the best of the hostel, best of the food here, you might be posted in a place where there will be no air condition in your room. My brother says staff, you will find there is no staff to whom control. These situations will be there. You will keep on writing through session, just please provide me a judgment writer, I want to write a judgment. He will say, where from I have to provide because I don't have staff. All these are challenges you will face. But this should not deter you. These are very minor issues. These minor issues are only because you are mentally very strong. And mentally strong you are because you do not compare yourself with government servants. You are not here to see that what are the perks I am getting and what my colleague who is living, another officer living in the same, say, officers colony, what he is getting. He might get car, he might get servants, he might get anything, he might get a good house. An executive engineer of PWD will come to his house, get it renovated, everything will happen, and you may not get it. You need to be mentally prepared for these things. Because our institution is not meant for perks and facilities and privileges. That's why the Supreme Court said, you are not government officers, you are constitutional functionaries. Our district judiciary is an organ duly recognized under the Constitution. And what you perform is only the enforcement of fundamental rights, constitutional rights, human rights, civil rights, incidental rights, all these rights. Who else can enforce except you? Therefore, this divine duty is given to you, and you are the exception identified, carved out in the society separately for this cause. Therefore, don't compare yourself with anyone else. You are a class apart. Feeling proud yourself in being a member of that class. The other thing which I find is extremely important, without integrity, without honesty, and without impartiality, I don't think that any officer in a judicial system can survive. These are not the qualifications, or these are not the standards. These are the basic element of being a judicial officer. If I were to remain a judge, I must necessarily possess it. These are the bare qualifications. Without that, where is the question of I being a judge? If I am not impartial, how can I be a judge? If I don't have integrity, then how can I be a judge? If I am not independent, how can I be a judge? Therefore, irrespective of any adversities in life, you must necessarily possess these lifelines of a being judge. I can give one example of an old person. Now he must be 92, 93 years old, High Court judge retired, but he joined the services like a judicial officer. He himself shared with me. He was a district and session judge. A matter came before him, and that matter was the brother-in-law of the then Chief Justice of the High Court. And it so happened on merits, the matter went against the brother-in-law of the Chief Justice. He decided against him. Things went like that. That officer was eventually posted at the Registrar General of the High Court. So every day he would come to contact with Chief Justice. One day Chief Justice asked him that, Mr. So-and-so, were you aware of that matter which you decided? He said, sir, no. He said, do you know that you decided that matter against my brother-in-law? He said, no, sir, I am not aware. I didn't know that he was your brother-in-law. But then after 1 second he said, sir, even if I were knew that he is your brother-in-law, my judgment would have been same. I recollect the then collegium had tentatively thought of recommending 3 names from services. But Chief Justice said, let's try to send 5 names. And 5th name was that judicial officer. These values really matter. And we must possess. Without these values, we don't exist. When I talk of impartiality, I was just remembering a very sarcastic line of W.C. Fields. There is an eminent author and philosopher, and you must have read about him. He said, I am free of all prejudices. He said, I am free of all prejudices. Why? Because I hate everyone equally. What a negative, perverse approach. But I would like to say that you are free from all prejudices because you love everyone. That positive approach, which my brother Sandeep talked to you, that need to be maintained. And that is the Magna Carta. That is what, as a conscious keeper of the society, you will always carry with you. And that force inside you will really work you as your inner strength for all times to come. I'm not here to create any psycho fear in your mind. I don't want you to be afraid of any situation. But I also don't want you to go from this building with any rosy picture that everything will be smoothly in life. No, it doesn't happen. It doesn't happen with anyone. I became Advocate General at the age of 37. I became a judge of the High Court when I was not even 42. I am there in Supreme Court now for more than 4.5 years. I have still some time to go. All these things happen to me also. All of you, you are joining judicial officers, you will become CJM, then you will become ADJ, then district judge, and God willing, many of you will ultimately adorn the bench also. So these things will happen to you also. This is a journey, as I said, for which we should be prepared that all these challenges will come. But we must possess the art of and the courage to face these challenges and to deal with them. The competence and diligence, two other things, I would say, as a part of a judicial officer's personality. But I will put a caveat on it, and then I will sum up, I will go to other point. The competence part. You see, artificial intelligence, technology, everything is there. But competence is not reflected in cutting and pasting. There is a habit, you put a, thanks to your all laptops and everything on online facilities and all these apps, you will put, you require a judgment where show cause notice has not been given, principles of natural justice violated. You will find 2,000 judgments out of it. And suddenly you pick up 3-1 and apply there. That is not the competence. That any computer will do. That even a clerk will do. That is not. So what Justice Massey said, the facts and circumstances of each case. First, you should be master of the facts of your case. Unless you are aware that in what circumstances this issue is arising for consideration, the law you will never be able to apply correctly. But if you have mastery on the facts of the case, then you know that out of the 1,000 judgment, which one is very close to the facts of the case before me. After that, you will see that after this judgment, is there any deviation? Is there any subsequent viewpoint on it? Sometimes a question may arise to you in your mind. Suppose you find that a person is completely dishonest. The person is in equity or in law, is not entitled to any relief, but for this technical ground of principles of natural justice. You might think of otherwise. You might say that yes, there are judgments in his favor, but here is a case where I don't think that any prejudice is caused to him because of non-compliance of principles of natural justice. In a given case, you may hold that principle of natural justice is not a ritual or a ceremony which in every case must be performed. So that is what the situation sometimes arises. You just read about a year back a judgment in state of Rajasthan versus Rico Industries or something which I have delivered, and I have dealt with on the point of principle of natural justice only. That how and in what circumstances we can even dispense with principles of natural justice. I am not saying that you will do it. I am only pointing out that I am only coming to the point of competence. Competence presupposes due application of mind. Due application of mind presupposes that you have an informed knowledge of the basic tenets of law on that subject. And basic tenets of law, the basic principles of law you will come across only when regularly, religiously, you develop a habit that 1 hour at least every day I will read some good book, some good law journal, and this is how you keep on enhancing, enriching yourself. That is the long-term investment which you will make in your judicial quality. So that habit, please, that's my appeal to you, try to develop that habit. And when can you read it? When you have a kind of a liking, something as if you are reading a fiction, you are reading a poetry, you are reading something which you, in daily, your routine life, you like something. Of course, it must depend, but you will find some great authors on different subjects. You will find they have written so beautifully that when you start reading, you will develop an interest. You will develop a curiosity, an anxiety that let me see what further he says. And in that process, this is how you enrich yourself. That's a habit, a lifestyle. If you go for walk 1 hour, you also think of spending 1 hour daily investment in your legal education. Remember yourself, 1 year training, thanks to the Supreme Court judgment, thanks to the very proactive initiatives taken by the high courts, and we are equally thankful to the state governments also, those who provided adequate funding for establishment of academies, and that now we are able to provide 1 year training initially to you. But after this training, you may not be able to get that much time to spend in the academy. We know that you will be coming here for intermittent training programs for 1 week, maybe weekends or all these things. But probably you will not be able to depend on those programs only. So you need to make an investment at your own in yourself. And for that you need to cultivate a culture of reading the legal literature on every day. That literature, you need to read only judgments only. Sometimes you may go for books, sometimes you go for biographies, sometimes you go for fictions. Sometimes there are so many things. Sometimes you can watch very good movies also on the legal principles. Let me share with you one experience, probably that will help, and then I think I will wind up in another 5 minutes or so. I keep on sharing my experience. I went to Halifax, Canada, in the Commonwealth Judicial Education Institute. And there I went as a student for 21 days, like a judicial officer or like any judge, for 21 days training program. And we used to sit like students right from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. every day, classroom, teachers teaching us on different subjects. So I also went there. Now, in that training program, one day the issue was about the receptivity of the ideas through different modes, that how the audience get receptivity about it. One of the conclusions drawn was that we deliver a one-sided lecture, which I am delivering last 15-20 minutes. The receptivity will be somewhere in between 27% to 35%. But if I am able to put this very presentation, say with a PowerPoint presentation, the receptivity will increase. Then it will go somewhere around 45%, 43% or so. But if I am also capable and I am so genius about it that I can introduce some cartoons in it, and with the help of cartoons or something with good antidotes or something like that, if I can explain to you, it will further enhance to 50% or so. And if I have some good video clips, that very receptivity percentage goes more than 67%. And in one Dr. Watts from Washington, he came as the subject expert, he explained to us, and I really like that idea. And after that I have been trying to it, and I find some merit in it. In that training program, they asked us to watch some movies, one Belgian movie I remember, some other countries, Chilean movie, other movies, on the legal subjects. Say one movie was beautiful movie, how to understand the circumstantial evidence in a murder case. Now it was a movie, a case of murder taking place, blind murder, then how the circumstantial evidence is being traced. A beautiful movie. So it's not necessary that you will read a book only. You can watch that movie and enhance your knowledge. All these tricks of the trade, I would say, are available in market. You only need to have your innovative tools, find out, use, and enhance yourself. That's what probably I felt. The training here, in completion of this training, please do not take as if this is something, a concluding stage, or where after that you have nothing to add to yourself. It's only a beginning. Now that you have been trained, it's like something who has been certified as a draftsman, a person who has been certified as an electrician, a person who has been certified as a civil engineer. But when you start working in the field, there you find practical difficulties. And practical difficulties require some innovative tools. And those innovative tools, as I suggest, is not depending upon what you have learnt in training. Training is only on hypothetical basis, that this you might face. But what you actually face might require a different kind of approach to the given situation, and for that you may require a different kind of solution as well. Therefore, you will undertake that exercise. Two more small things I just want to add to you. I hope you are not very got bored so much, but two things I would like to add. As a presiding officer of the court, two more roles you are required to perform. One is of psychologist, and the other is of sociologist. Psychologist. Why? Because the person who is coming to you, you have to understand his psyche also. Litigant psyche, both sides. When I say litigant, means both sides and invisible, all of them. Whether he is crying, is he actually crying? Are these crocodile tears or actual tears? Who will identify it except you? So you will not go by only mere because he is crying in your court, and therefore you will not presume that he is a victim. A counsel, an advocate, he tried to browbeat you. I remember 21st April 1984 was the last day when I appeared in the law exam, and on 22nd April I went to the courts. I was not an advocate, I was just waiting for my license. By that time I had not applied even. So I was waiting, but I went there. And I was sitting in a court on the rear side, when one of the lawyers, a top leading lawyer, he is arguing before a newly appointed judicial officer. That lady has retired as a High Court judge, Snehata. Snehata's first posting as a judicial officer in my hometown, she was there. And one of the top leading lawyer of the civil side, an expert, he is going there arguing an ad interim injunction matter and citing, मैं आपको वो लैंग्वेज बता रहा हूँ कि जनाबे आला, वो ऐसे बोलते थे, ऐसे आर्गू करते, जनाबे आला जो मैं कह रहा हूँ ये तो सेटल्ड लॉ है, ये देखो 1958 ट्रावनकोर का एक जजमेंट है इस पे. So he was citing a judgment of a Travancore High Court of 1958 and arguing that this is the settled law because of that judgment. अब वकील साहब का नाम सुन करके तो कोई भी सोचेगा ये अगर बोल रहे हैं बात कि सेटल्ड लॉ है तो ये सेटल्ड लॉ ही होगा. He didn't have any judgment of the Supreme Court of that High Court. The Punjab Haryana High Court, I am talking of right from Lahore High Court and High Court known for the development of civil law. He didn't have a judgment of that. Some judgment of Travancore High Court he was citing and are claiming and with full confidence that this is the settled law. There you need to understand the psychological end. Yes, you will say, yes, it is settled law, I know it, you are rightly citing the judgment. So sometimes you have to act as a psychologist. Then you have to act as a sociologist also. Social conditions of the litigant, consumer of justice before you. What is his conditions? In what circumstances is there? Somebody comes for 125 maintenance petition. One aspect will be, yes, after all, how the lady will survive, how the woman will survive without maintenance. But then what are the social conditions, in which circumstances is she living, what are the responsibilities on her, all these things in the social background of that person, that consumer of justice, then only you will evaluate. Therefore, being what is a sociologist? That you understand the nerve of the society. Which society? The societal fabric whom you are dealing. You can't be expected to understand society on pan-India basis because you have to serve in the state of Rajasthan primarily. It's good that you know about the entire country. It's always ideal that so much informed knowledge you possess. But about the day-to-day learning, you need to confine yourself about the state of Rajasthan. What are the conditions prevailing? There are tribal communities, how they act, how they behave, what is the source of income, what is the landed property or no landed property. These issues will arise. The local dialect will also play a very vital role in that social. The person, as I said, the person using the language in Sri Ganganagar and the person who is sitting in Jaisalmer, they may speak in different kind of tone and tenor. The economic conditions may also be different in both the parts. All these things, therefore, the social fabric of the society with whom you are dealing, the social circumstances in which the litigants who are before you are living, the social scenario which is overall in developing in the state, all these factors will have an extreme important facet of your personality as a judge. And I think in last, I must conclude by saying, otherwise maybe that sometime I will get chance and other things I will share. In one of the judicial academies, last 1 year, 2 months or so, probably this is my 5th judicial academy where I am with young officers and sharing my ideas. In one of the judicial academy, very recently, after the event was over and the officers were there with some formal and informal photographs and all these things going on, a very bright lady judicial officer, she asked me, sir, what is the one way to define our role? How should we act? Can you just give me one capsule in which we can understand our role? I said, yes, you can. He said, what? I said, you are the voice of voiceless. And that's all. Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you for giving this.
Symbolic certificate.
Great is the art of beginning, but greater is the art of ending. Today, with the symbolic distribution of memento cum training certificates to trainee RJS officers, we will be saying goodbye to our academy as we set out on a new journey as full-fledged judicial officers. I now humbly request Honorable Mr. Justice Suryakant to hand out training cum memento certificates to trainee officers. Anjali Janu and Abhilash Kalla. Anjali Janu. Abhilash Kalla. Satish Fenin. Vibha Sharma. Dharu Ram. And Shivani Meena.
I humbly request Honorable Mr. Justice M.M. Srivastav to present a memento to Honorable Mr. Justice Suryakant, Judge, Supreme Court of India. I humbly request Honorable Mr. Justice P.S. Bhatti to present a memento to Honorable Mr. Justice Augustine George Massey, Judge, Supreme Court of India. I humbly request Honorable Mr. Justice Dinesh Mehta to present a memento to Honorable Mr. Justice Sandeep Mehta, Judge, Supreme Court of India.
Thank you, Your Lordships. I now request Honorable Mr. Justice Dinesh Mehta, Judge, Rajasthan High Court and Chairman, Working Committee, Rajasthan State Judicial Academy, to propose his vote of thanks.
Good afternoon all. My respects and reverence to the dignitaries on the dais and off the dais. Initially, this job of giving thanks was assigned to my elder brother, Honorable Justice Pankaj Bhandari, but due to some unavoidable circumstances, he could not come, and this burden or privilege has come to me. This message was given to me by Justice Bhatti late in the evening at about 11:30 p.m. and I was wondering. I couldn't sleep all the night because the time allotted was 5 minutes. I never knew for 5 minutes how do I thank. Anyway, I just will go by my random thoughts. As we all know that the sun is the power which gives light to all, energy to all, heat to all, but that one sun ray takes 8 minutes to come to earth, to us, because sun is 150 million kilometers from us. And now we are fortunate to have a son himself here, Honorable Justice Suryakant. He is with all his kant, आभा, इसको हम कहते हैं, तो पूरी सूर्य की आभा के साथ Honorable Justice Suryakant हमारे बीच में हैं. इन्होंने जिस तरह से एक एक चीज को बताया, इन्होंने सूर्य की किरण के जो 7 रंग हैं बताए, एक जज के लिए क्या क्या होना चाहिए, वो सब इन्होंने बताया. We are so indebted to him. Then we have also Honorable Justice Augustine George. मैं उनके नाम का थोड़ा हिंदीकरण करूं तो ऋषि अगस्त्य हो गए. ऋषि अगस्त्य और लोपामुद्रा ने हमें ऋग्वेद दिया, ज्ञान का भंडार दिया. उसके बाद हमारे ऑनरेबल संदीप मेहता साहब जो हमारे अपने हैं, संदीप मेहता साहब का भी थोड़ा नाम का मैं चेंज करूं तो उसको ऋषि संदीपन कह सकते हैं. जहां भगवान स्वयं कृष्ण ने और सुदामा ने ज्ञान अर्जित किया, वो स्वयं आज हमारी एकेडमी में उपस्थित हैं. और उसके साथ ही हमारे साथ उपस्थित हैं हमारे मुख्य न्यायाधिपति मनिंद्र मोहन श्रीवास्तव. ये वो मोहन है जिनके पास मणि है, भगवान श्री कृष्ण स्वयं है, जिन्होंने हमें गीता का ज्ञान दिया. और हमारे एकेडमी के चेयरमैन हैं ऑनरेबल जस्टिस पुष्पेंद्र भाटी, जो फूलों के राजा हैं, जिनकी खुशबू, जिनकी महक और जिनकी सुंदरता ने इस एकेडमी को लाभान्वित किया है. मैं इन सबका धन्यवाद देता हूं आप सबकी ओर से, मेरी ओर से. मैं ऑनरेबल जस्टिस भाटी की बात को थोड़ा सा आगे बढ़ाऊंगा. उन्होंने कहा हम कोकून से बटरफ्लाई बने हैं. आप सब लोग एक एग थे, ज्ञान आप में था. यू क्रैक द गैट. आपने RJS क्रैक किया, एकेडमी में आए, यहाँ आपको लेसन्स मिले, उससे आप प्यूपा बने, कैटरपिलर बने. उसके बाद आपने यहाँ सीखा, आप फील्ड ट्रेनिंग में गए, आप प्यूपा बने, उड़ना सीखे, और अब जब कंप्लीट ट्रेनिंग हो गई है तब तितली बन गए. तितली बन के इस पूरे राज्य में फैल जाइए. यहाँ से जो खुशबू आपने ली है, और हमारे जो डायरेक्टर हैं कमल छंगानी साहब, वो भी एक कमल हैं, भारत के राष्ट्रीय पुष्प है और हमारे सौम्यता और धर्म का प्रतीक है. उनसे आपने जो ज्ञान अर्जित किया, मेरी ये विनम्र निवेदन है, इस पुष्प को जो पोलोन से इनको पूरे राज्य में फैलाइए और पूरे राज्य को प्रफुल्लित, पुष्पित और फूलों से लाद दीजिए. हमारी जुडिशियल एकेडमी से जो निकले हुए हीरे हैं, उन सब की खुशबू इतनी फैले कि पूरा राजस्थान के दिस वाज परhaps the best batch. But my thanks are also due to each one of you, the members of the Judicial Academy, my brother judges who have come from Jaipur only to witness this great ceremony and this great occasion, and my brother judges from Jodhpur, who has spared their time to bless all of you. I think that these blessings are very valuable to all of you, and you will go long way. You are butterflies, fly high, fly far. But remember one thing, हमेशा go with this motto, देखना है जो मेरी उड़ान को और ऊंचा कर दो इस आसमान को. लेकिन आसमान में उड़ने के बाद ये ध्यान रखना, आपकी निगाहें और पांव जमीन पे रहें. Thank you, all the best everyone.
I request one and all to please.
The flight is 45 minutes late, sir. Can we show 5 minutes video to sir? Although after the thanks it should not happen, but with if your lordships permit, a 5 minutes video of these our students, only a 5 minutes video. It's about 45 minutes late, so that is why I'm taking this video.
चाहता है दिल चाहता है दिल चाहता है कभी न बीते चमकीले दिन दिल चाहता है कभी यारों के बिन दिन दिन भर हो प्यारी बातें झूमे शाम गाए रातें मस्ती में रहे डूबा डूबा हमेशा समा जहाँ रुके हम जहाँ भी जाएं जो हम चाहें वो हम पाए मस्ती में रहे डूबा डूबा हमेशा समा हमको राहों में यूं ही मिलती रहे खुशियाँ चाहता है चाहता है
One and all please to please standing ovation for Honorable Supreme Court judges for their insightful.
चाहता है
Please rise for the.
चाहता है कैसा अजब ये सफर है सोचो तो हर एक ही बेखबर है उसको जाना किधर है जो वक्त आए जाने क्या दिखाए
आप सभी को धन्यवाद। माननीय अतिथियों से निवेदन है कि कृपया लंच के लिए प्रस्थान करें।